a few experiences throughout my life. And the last experience that I just had just opened my eyes up to other possibilities as well. And granted, I've never seen myself dating or like being with a woman seriously. The young lady that I
Hey guys, welcome to Little Black Book 91. We are back with another one. It's a super panel time, but listen, we're going to have a real conversation because episode 1 to 6, I think it was amazing. I actually really enjoyed this particular season. It was less carnage, less of the craziness, more about us getting into relationship dynamics. And if you're into that, this is your season. Can I be honest with you? Let me start off with a question and start off with a particular, bang. Because Brittnay, if you haven't watched it, there are going to be spoilers. So 1 to 6, so there's going to be spoilers. Brittnay in episode 4 releases a secret about the fact that she had been with women. Now this has actually been a talking point. I've been on threads and I've seen a lot of talking points. People actually slating Devin for his reaction to her. I'm just saying, listen, hey, I said for me personally, I might have had the same reaction. I'd have been like, let me process it, and then I would have been like, actually, let me be real with you. I don't know if I can do this. Yeah, you know what I mean? And it's because of the way that she spoke about the relationships. She said she didn't see herself in the relationships with women. She never saw herself in that. But then ended up in one. But she's like, I don't see myself ever being married to one. That's fine. That's not a problem at all. But it sounded very current. You know what I mean? And I feel like, I understood why he might have felt some type of way. Do I think he should have married Virginia? I get so do I think he should have gone after Virginia after? I can see why he did. But I didn't feel like his heart was actually in it. She's a beautiful woman, by the way, Virginia. But I didn't feel like his heart was necessarily in it. So, we're going to discuss that, I'm sure, by all means, because it was a very big talking point, especially for black folk who felt Devin was absolutely wrong for the way he reacted, because she was very open about receiving his, what he had been through. But he wasn't necessarily as receptive to hers as well, which I think are two different things. So people probably should look at that differently. Then there was obviously the craziness at the end of Edge of episode 6, which had absolute spinner in the freaking works. If you didn't watch it, you need to watch it. It was Daniel and Taylor, and they found out that Daniel actually had already known who Taylor was potentially. She spoke about how he had followed her on social media, and he knew a little bit about her already. And I understood where she was coming from. I felt it. It
just
crazy.
Really scares me.
Let me go back for you guys.
Taco Bell, registered nurse, family faith. We also had mutual people, if I remember right, when I looked at your profile.
So if you don't know the story between this one, listen, Daniel and Taylor, really quickly. The issue with Daniel and Taylor is that Daniel potentially was following her already on social media, and then he unfollowed. So I don't know if the producers probably told him to unfollow her or whatever. Maybe they found out when they did their research. Maybe that's why, who knows. But either way, it's not looking good. Can't lie to you, it's not looking good, because it can look like you were doing your research beforehand and that you kind of knew who she was. So, you kind of zeroed in. I get it. From her perspective, I actually get it. From her perspective. From a safety perspective, I actually really do get it. I think they might have to, it's a touch and go. It's touch and go. He might be a really good guy, but he also may be a serial killer. I'm just going to be honest with you. I ain't going to play with it. It could be. You know what I mean? So you got to be very, very careful of that. And if anything goes wrong, we're going to always remember this one point here. Now, if anything goes wrong, we're literally going to remember this one point and say, this one point she had a gut feeling, whatever, and this situation went left. So I understand her sentiment. I do understand her feelings. I understand where she may feel some type of way. And I understand that she may feel like, that this may be a little bit more too heavy for her. You know what I mean? I just think to myself that this is an interesting situation to be in. I personally, I guess as a man, it's a bit more different. Like, again, the power dynamics are in my favor. You probably won't feel some type of way about it, but you should always be careful. You never know what craziness is out there, as well. So maybe she was sabotaging. Who knows? Maybe she wasn't. We'll have to find out. Okay, really quickly again, and it was obviously we know that obviously that Madison ended up going with nobody. Okay, now we need to be talking about Madison because honestly, she tried it, and that me and Elsa are gonna go deep with it, but she tried it. I'm not even gonna lie to you, she tried it because you see, she tried to drop a little bar on Mason, try to almost try to, and I was a little bit scared a little because she tried to almost make it as if like he really tried to hurt her and tried to really go after her, and I was like, wait, didn't you dump him? And I know that he said some things about how he wanted to be committed to, and I know he took it back because he was a little bit he was probably a bit butthurt, let's be honest, and he probably was thinking about maybe going back with Meg. He didn't in the end. He realized he couldn't, right? But she was really going on like he really hurt her, and I was like, well, how did he really hurt you if you never were gonna choose him in the first place? You said you already made your choice, so I was so confused about how she was gonna make that. I was like, damn. And then she was just fishing for sympathy from Alex. And again, it goes back to what I said in episode 2. Of course, I'm still going to do my breakdowns throughout the course of the week, so don't worry. I'll do episode 3, 4, 5, and 6 during the week. But it goes back to that fishing for the compliment, the sympathy, so that she can keep him. But that was interesting. So I'll play a little clip and you can see who I'm talking about.
See on the outside, I guess. Maybe.
That's what Alex told her. He ain't gonna be with her no more.
I care about you a lot. I just want you to be happy.
Yeah. I hope that for you too. Sorry we couldn't get there.
I really wanted to.
Yeah, she said, listen, stop that chat. But I really wanted to. You didn't even want to do anything, stop the chat. I know she was vexed, like, stop that chat. Stop that chat about you where you wanted to. Get the freak out of here. You didn't really want to. And then there was obviously the reveal between David and Lauren. I'll play a little bit of a clip so you can see.
Funny, like hearing you talk to me.
Oh, sorry, that's Daniel and Taylor. I apologize. That's Daniel and Taylor. I apologize. I thought that was David and thingy. I don't know why I clicked something like that. Let me get the people. Sorry. Okay, let me get them properly. And she doesn't even fancy him either. Can I be honest? She doesn't fancy him. Okay, she needs to be honest. She gave him a handshake before he got a kiss. Okay, she gave him a handshake before she got a kiss. She does not want him. I'm just gonna be honest with you.
I don't know what that means.
I don't either, really. Do I remind you of anyone now that you see me?
You remind me of anyone.
He does remind me of somebody, and I cannot think who he reminds me of, but he reminds me of someone. I can't lie to you. I think it's a comedian. He reminds me of somebody. I don't know who it is, but yeah, he reminds me of someone. So that was David and Lauren. He eventually chose Lauren over Molly. Molly was the girl that was in competition with Lauren. Lauren literally nailed him down, got him 2, and in the end, she prevailed. Let's be honest. Then obviously we had quickly. This was Mason and Meg. He had to let Meg go.
We're here to grow, we're here to challenge ourselves, we're here to evolve, and I think like I know more of who I am and what I want and what I bring to a relationship. And I think like you leave knowing, like work on like expressing how I feel so people don't have to question.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, she'll be back with him later on. Anyway, listen. Listen. She had to let Mason go because she couldn't trust that he was actually going to choose her, which I actually understand. Again, I get it. Your pride and your stuff is really important. I can't lie to you. Even if she goes back with him later on, at least she knows that at this moment she said no. You know what I mean? Then he has to at least work for it a little bit. But if she says yes now, he's not worked for it. You know what I'm saying to you? He's decided to choose the other girl. So I get it. You know, she made the right choice. I backed her making that choice. I said, yes, Meg. Yeah? Mega Meg. Yeah? It's good that you chose that. You know what I'm saying to you? Let Mason know, all right, that he has to work for you if he's going to try and come for you. If he's going to go back for you, fine. But he has to work for it. You know what I mean? So I respected that. But yeah, that was just a few of the couples in there as well. I know there's more in between that because people were in love triangles, but we will discuss that in a few minutes. Like I said, if you haven't done so already, make sure you guys like, share, subscribe, click on the bell button for notifications of the uploads. Yes, I've got my primetime Easton and I got Elsa behind me, which means it's going to be an amazing show. I know it's going to be a classic because there's a lot to dissect in these episodes. Okay, so let me bring my people dems on. Yes. How you doing, Captain? How you doing? Easton said he gonna give us some light. Boy, you are in the light. Did Jesus touch you? What's going on, bro? You are in the light. You look like you in them gaming. You like you're in the jungle, bro. What's going on? Let me make it like this because you suffering. I can't. You look like you white chicks right now. Woman America. That's what it looked like. Someone says he's bleaching. It's probably just a lighting he was in. Obviously, the first few episodes, Elsa, just break us in a little bit. What was your take on this? The first 6 episodes. There's a lot of episodes in the first few. The first Friday this week. A lot of episodes. What was your perspective on episode 1 to 6?
It started off slow. I'm not gonna hold you. I was like, saying, dang, I'm going to suffer through this just for Devin, Brittnay, and Virginia. Am I going to suffer through this for my people? But I've got to say, it was a slow burn. And when they burn you, they burn really well. There was some really, dark arts going on here. And if you blink, you might miss it. And it's just a subtle dark arts that I just love to see. The players like Molly, Madison. Yes, there are too many M names for me. I had to have their photo up so I could keep track of it. Meg was a good player. Meg was really, really strong. And Alex, I was not expecting Alex to be as strong as he was. So yeah, it was really, really good. And if you get all the way to the end of 6, the twist and turn at the end, please, I loved it.
Absolutely, very, very interesting episode 1 to 6. I can't lie to you. Different to what we usually get, but definitely has. If you tap in, you're gonna see some things, relational dynamics. Maybe those of us who are acquainted with dark arts really enjoyed it in that space. You know what I mean? Easton, what was your thoughts? Episode 1 to 6. How did you first impressions of that? What was your thoughts about it? Oh, we can't hear you. Hold on now. Your mic is on, but we can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Oh, here we go. There we go. Yeah.
My apologies for all the technical
That's right, bro.
It was refreshing to hear a little bit more of the banter behind, because, in the past seasons, we haven't really got to get into the depths of how much conversation are people having. Like, what's going on? Like, how deep are these people getting in the conversations? Are they being really surface level, or are they like, getting into the nitty gritty, talking about these tough conversations? And you get to hear that some of the banter is surface level with some people. Some of it is very intimate and very like, there's a sexual aspect to a lot of it, which is a little bit interesting. And then some of it is like really deep, hard hitting questions, and everybody's sharing their most, their saddest, most traumatizing stuff. And, that's a situation that you can create some type of bond or togetherness for. But 1 through 6 was good in my opinion. I was a little bit interested in how some of the love triangles are and how the show has evolved, especially on the women's side, because there's a lot more talking than I would say necessarily on the men's side, and how that might change things up from a social experiment aspect. But overall, things are good. From the people that are on the show, they all seem somewhat looks compatible. And when I say like looks compatible, I think everybody matches. It's not like a heavy, like everybody's trying to be a model or some type of influencer combined with another aspect of people. And everybody seems like they're right in the middle, like just like America, median average. And I love that. But also am a little bit hesitant for the people that do look like they are models or don't really shouldn't be on the show, i.e. Ben, i.e. Virginia. My ears start to perk up and like, what is going on with you? Why are y'all on the show? Like, you're really attractive conventionally. What's going on here? And so then I started to perk my ears up, and obviously as the episodes go, you start to see a little bit of nuance between those kind of characters. But yeah, that's all I got for right now.
Appreciate that. Thank you, Easton. Jay, go for it. What was your thoughts to the first 6 episodes? There's a lot, I know. We had to sit through a lot this weekend.
A hell of a lot. I don't remember sitting through 6 pod episodes. We're still in the damn pod.
We're still in the pod. We're not even in Mexico right now.
When are we getting out the pods? Damn it. That's what all I can say for this is I just don't recall it being this long. Am I mad about it? Not necessarily, because there was a lot of twists and turns. There were a lot more, I feel like, triangulated relationships. I'll say it that way, because if I say it a different way, it's going to come out wrong. So it was a lot of, like, you know, connections, a lot of different connections. And like I said, a few twists and turns, where some ups and then some downs, and then some gameplay that played themselves at the end of it. It was a lot going on. So yeah, it was a lot. I feel like it would be a lot of great conversation, and it's good to see that, you know, our community is not the only community that are suffering through struggle love. Okay, because we like to say that all the time, but clearly there's a lot of trauma around the world.
You know, you took my question right out of my mouth. That was one of my questions I wanted to talk about, because obviously I've heard a lot of talk about from black folks, especially, we ain't seen no diversity, you know, on this show. Where the black people at? I was like, thank heavens we're not on the show for once. Let us see what the other communities are working with, and let's stop the talk about black people this, black people that. It is all relational. We all have the issues around that aspect. So yeah, you're absolutely right, Jay. It was a good insight to see that these are normal relational issues. The struggle love is across the board. It's just that we are very much acquainted with our own community, and we can see it up close in our own community. Don't let nobody gaslight you into telling you there's only black folk struggling through this stuff, because some of these relationships, people out here out of desperation. But, you know, we'll get there. But we'll get there as well in that aspect. Okay, let's get straight into this, because, you know, there was obviously some couples that we were hit with. You know, I'm gonna go straight for the Daniel and Taylor, right? Because first and foremost, they are an interesting couple. Okay, there we go. Love that. Thank you very much. Courtesy of El Cid, who gave us these fantastic overlays. Because you know me, one thing I'm going to do is not give you an overlay. So we appreciate El Cid. She asked me, where do you want it, in the middle or in the right? And I said the middle. So shout out to El Cid for allowing us to have these overlays, which are going to make it easier for the audience to also see what's going on. So Daniel and Taylor, they are an interesting couple. We got to see them in all shades. She's somebody who's an overthinker. Daniel is somebody who is, you know, I think he bullied a little bit. He was a bit short at the time, and, you know, he's had to grow and, you know, see things differently, right? And in the end, you know, they had a really strong connection all through the 6 episodes, right? Up until the very end of the 6th episode, right? And it seemingly was going so well. They had their reveal. Now, the reveal is what I want to talk about first, because it was going well. It was going well between Daniel and Taylor. It was the reveal that revealed the truth of the nature of how she really felt about him, and maybe even some attraction as well. I want to get you guys' thoughts. If you remember the reveal, I can get a clip for you guys to show that the reveal again. There's a part in the reveal which was really, let me see if I can get you guys a clip for you guys, that really was like, ooh, baby. I said, something is going wrong here. Okay, let me see if I can get there. There we go. Let's go. Here we go. I think it was just here. Let me see if I can get a clip for you guys, and see if I can play this for you as well. Okay. I'm even a bit too early. Hold on. Let's go back. There we go. Let's play.
How are you?
How are you?
You're beautiful.
Nice to meet you.
Oh my god. Are you kidding me?
Should we shake hands?
Yeah.
Nice to meet you.
You're beautiful. Oh my god. Can you kiss? Wow.
Hi.
Oh.
Nasty work. Let LC go first. But real quick, the nastiest work of all was that makeup on his suit. Baby girl left that whole face on that boy's right shoulder. But go ahead, LC.
In my recap, there are 3 things in this reveal. I was like, girl, you don't like this man, and ended. 1, the handshake. That's diabolical. You just, you know, were pouring out I love yous in the pods. You accepted his proposal. And should we shake hands after you done hugged the man? 2nd, Kojo, right after that, when they were talking, she dodged a kiss. She thought he was leaning in to kiss her when they were on the bench. And when he just leaned in to talk, she just dodged back. 3rd, she said she has to look away to get her bearings. She don't want to even look at him. She ran for the wine after the reveal. She's like, do you want some wine? And ran in her gown back to her side of the pod. I was like, girl, you don't like him. You don't like him. And it's okay. But he was expecting rejection because he said, you know, it's Short King season. Short King season. But she said, this is Shady Production. They asked her if somebody was shorter than her. She said, I will take off my heels. Any excuse not to wear heels to hurt my feet is okay. And guess what? She ran in them heels to get away from him to get to the wine. She don't want that man.
It's nasty work. I mean, we're just getting into the actual reveal, so we can get into like a little bit more of the nuances and some of the stuff we find out afterwards. But like I said, I think that the makeup on the suit was my first thing. I was like, Jesus, like that just took me out immediately. But it's unfortunate because a guy like Daniel has had to like face these kind of like, you know, these feelings all throughout his dating history, and then for him not to get the same reassurance that he is kind of yearning for. I mean, asking for a kiss is nasty work. Like we was all I love you and sharing these very intimate stories with each other. We had so much history built behind the pods and all, and we hear about it year after year that you build so much, you know, so much relationship equity behind the pods that now you see each other and I gotta ask you for a kiss. That is nasty work. Taylor, I mean, is love blind? I don't think so. I think that we've seen it time and time again within this experiment. And I say that like we can set the table now. Going forward, are we going to use this as a social experiment, or are we going to say this is like a real traditional marriage? We got to set the table first. So I'm expecting that all the panelists, all the chat listeners, this is a social experiment. So people are to be judged as a social experiment and not that of a traditional Christian relationship or that you might know of. And so since this is a social experiment, I can understand where Taylor might have her like issues with Daniel, and it's just sad to see that Daniel, who is somebody who is trying to take the experiment seriously, having to get kind of pushed away by Taylor, and that's the unfortunate part about this.
Thank you, Easton. Yes, he definitely saw the chat and saw the comments in our last video. That's probably why he said those things. Jay, what's your thoughts?
My first thought is Easton need to speak for himself again. I have told him several times, do not speak for the collective because I do not be spoken for. Okay, thank you. Secondly, social experiment or not, y'all signed up. So you have signed up for an experiment to step outside of your comfort zone. Your comfort zone might be a man of certain height. He might be a man of certain stature or something, or vice versa, a woman of a particular look or race or whatever. But you signed up to choose whatever you choose, sight unseen, based off of how you feel emotionally connected to that person. This lady's still going off of looks. I'm sorry. She could sit here and try to play this game at the end of where he know me from. And it was easy out for her, luckily for him, because he sat there and asked, hey, what's your IG? What's all this stuff like that? Like, you know, I don't know why he asked that. It was some things in the pod. I was like, y'all sound like y'all know each other already any daggone way. The name is not recognizing to you, you know, but it is what it is. I do feel, on a side note, if we're going to talk social experiment, that it is not wise to have all of your personal information on your social media for this particular type reason right here, because you never know who is following you in real life, in real time, and gathering all this information to sit here and use dark arts on you at some point. Do I think Daniel was actually trying to do that? No. I think she was seriously trying to find a way out of it, because when she has to sit there and keep saying, so you don't have a picture with you in front of a tree with a drink in his hand, he's like, no, I have a picture with me on a fireplace and there's no drink. Ma'am, you're steady trying to find a reason. You're trying to find a reason out of this and stuff like that. I think he knows me and knows me from somewhere. It seems like you know him more than he knows you. Because you were just trying to relate this picture to his Instagram. And I'm like, are y'all giving them their phones? I thought they're not supposed to have their phones and all this stuff. See, this is why they shouldn't have shared the social media of it all. But it is what it is. You don't like that man. And I can tell you, like Elsie said, from the time you come out, you want to do a handshake. You want to miss his kiss. And then out of all the couples that we've seen this season, meet up and link up, it's been great. everybody's excited. You get the back, the little off camera stuff. Oh my God, he's so fine. She's so beautiful. This, that. This lady went in there, sat down, breathed hard, took another drink, and was just like, let me figure out how I'm gonna get myself up out of this mess. 24 hours later, she was like, I know this man. I knew him. Production, call it off because we know each other. No, because y'all should have known each other from the pods. The last couple we had that knew each other, they knew each other in the pods. They was like, oh my God, it's you. Ah, dang. Ma'am. All right, we're gonna let her have her little dark arts, but whatever.
I mean, I think it's true. No, you go, Sid.
My thing with that whole "do you know me?" Her standing on that was sketchy. She says, "Oh, I'm a nurse." There are 3 other nurses in this group. There are 3 other nurses in this group that could have been the same. Oh, you love Christmas because I love Christmas. Ton of them in there love Christmas. You just don't like this man. Just say it, and that's okay. But what you're standing on saying about him is sketchy. Now, I was hoping for the drama of it all. I was hoping that Netflix would have posted his photo from IG on there for us to see who was giving us the foolishness or not. Now, I was not invested enough to go look, but he was like, no, it's this. But while people say Daniel is sus, here's the thing. Here's why I don't think he's sus. I think Daniel is processing exactly what we think. She does not want me, and she wants to create this story, and she wants to get out of it. And I've been rejected time and time again about my height. And here we go again. Yes, he could look sketchy, whatever, but if I'm in that position with him, it'll be like, no, this is what I have. No, this is what it is. And then not try to call her a liar to her face outright. But ma'am, we did not need the camera crew at the hotel. We did not have to have a sit-down meeting. You could have sent the ring back or say whatever and not even go through all of this. Why all of this? We have had a bride just depart from the program without all of this. But I think she's trying to create a narrative to make her come out, smelling like roses.
I'm somewhat agreeing with it. I just know how guys can be and how we operate, and I do believe that he did follow. He didn't get no follow back, so he unfollowed because I know how us guys get. As soon as we don't get no unfollow, or we see her post a man or post something else, and we don't get no follow back, unfollow. He probably does know her. If we're gonna be completely honest, he probably does know her. He has seen her, and he probably has a little bit of inclination. Do I think that that's enough to garner what the reaction that he's getting now? No. But I think if he's being completely honest with himself, and his face told me when she was confronting him, although she didn't have the exact pictures, she did have a pretty close one. And if you're a girl, even if a girl follows me, I might look through her stuff or something like that. She might have been like, there's a picture like this or somewhat similar. She had enough knowledge of scrolling through that she saw that he was in a festive Christmas picture, and I know that I wasn't feeling that. He probably knows, and he's going into the experiment knowing all this stuff about her. I don't think it was enough to I like Taco Bell and all this other stuff. I don't think that was enough to sway her opinion, but I do believe that he did have knowledge about it. And if I'm being completely honest, I've done that. I followed a girl. She didn't follow me back. I unfollowed. We might match on Hinge or something like that, and things might go a little bit better. But he does know her. He might have used some of that stuff, but she is using that as a way of getting out of the situation, because the reason why she didn't follow him back is because she didn't find him attractive. Your first smoke signal is you liking her or following her. If she does it, and then you might like a couple pictures. If she don't like a couple pictures back and follow you back, then she's not feeling me like that, and she never felt him, and she didn't like him. So that's what I think it really is.
I'm gonna let my Leo side speak on this one. It's giving real insecure. You say some stuff like that. Oh, you didn't like a picture back. I'm gonna unfollow you. I'm glad that I don't know any fool on my thing. And I'm gonna say fool because if you gonna follow me and unfollow me, you a fool for your thing. Because if you was waiting for me to like your picture, I'm glad that for any fool who has unfollowed me because you are so insecure, waiting on me to come look at your page to follow you back. And the chance and likelihood that we both on this show and I'm still stalking you all the way on this show is crazy to me. Okay, the fact that she actually knows more about his pictures is wild to me than he knows about her. But you're telling me he's a stalker. Oh, okay. And I'm gonna tell you like this. If you tell me, if you're accusing me, not telling me, if you're accusing me of something and you got your details wrong, you're wrong. You're wrong. You can't accuse me of something and sit here and be like, well, your shirt was blue that day and my shirt was red. You're wrong. So if you're going to accuse me, you better have all your facts all the way laid out before you take me to court and think we're going to go to trial over this. Because guess what? You're going to be wrong based off of your details. So if she came to that man saying you was in a Christmas outfit because your favorite holiday is Christmas, and I see you in a Christmas tree behind you, and I say, no, babe, I had a fireplace because it was Thanksgiving, because that's my second favorite holiday. You don't even have the date of the picture up. You're wrong. So let's just stand by the fact that she didn't like this man because what we seen on that TV that we know of gave us enough information to say she wasn't fancying him. Because if she was, she wouldn't have been worried about the picture that she gave him, where she seen him from, none of that stuff. She'd have been okay. Just like you said, if she looked at his page and seen something she liked, she would have followed him back. That is true. So if she liked something about this man, it would not have been a problem had she known him or not. That's a fact.
Yeah, I totally agree with Jay. It is, highly petty. You haven't had your phone in 10 days, but a man you didn't follow, you memorized his photos? Yeah. From a couple months ago? Yeah. And you're acting like people who go on this reality TV don't follow each other once they know they're members of the cast. I mean, it's the suspicion is weak that he is doing that. It is weak. And oh, I'm a nurse. There are 4 other nurses here. Oh, I love Christmas. He already packed a stocking for Christmas. The gifts they exchanged was Christmas. Lady, it is okay that you don't like him. That is perfectly fine. Just tell him this is not going to work out for whatever reason. I appreciate the time and I hope you find your one. That's okay. But to say he follow you and unfollow you, the ego of the Instagram is on 10. I'm sorry.
Especially for me to remember that somebody followed me and they unfollow me. Like, I do not care. I do not remember you.
That may be y'all. I feel like y'all a little bit, maybe a little bit out of touch. I'm telling you, people do it all the time. Follow you and unfollow you. I'm gonna give you a 24-hour notice. Oh, you don't follow me back? I like a couple pictures.
You know why they doing that? You know why they doing that?
I'm gonna take that back.
Their following count up. They were gonna unfollow you in the first place.
This is the starter. I'm gonna like some pictures. I'm gonna like some pictures. You gonna if you fooling with me a little bit, you gonna like some of my pictures. Then we might follow up. You might follow me. I will follow you. Then it goes into the DMs. We start chatting. I get the number. We might FaceTime, and it might progress from there. I'm not saying that Daniel is over here stalking her. I'm saying that I have plenty of friends and family in Minneapolis. It's a small place. You already know how the cast is getting cross reference with all these other people that they dated and stuff like that. In my opinion, I think Daniel probably was like, oh, she's in Minneapolis. She looks attractive. Let me follow her. If she likes me, if she fooling with me, she gonna like me back. Oh, she didn't do that. Let me unfollow. And on her side, she's like, okay, this guy followed me. Let me look through his page. Is he cute enough? Is he not? I don't like how he looks. Let me not follow him back. But I do recognize those Christmas photos because, again, they're not exactly right, but they are somewhat similar. And then he's like, okay, you didn't follow me back. I'm going to take it back. And now she's using that as an excuse, but I'm not saying what Daniel's doing is malicious. I'm just saying if he's honest, he can just say, hey, I followed you a long time ago. It didn't work out, or we didn't follow up on each other. And that's the case. I think that
Easton, I don't remember the last 2 people I followed on Instagram. I couldn't tell you what their picture looks like. I couldn't tell you if they followed me or didn't follow me back. So the fact that you are remembering this for me is wild in her case. It is wild. How do I know that you didn't go to my page and like a few things and come back to follow? It is, why am I paying that much attention to you?
Kojo Kid, maybe I'm lost in translation. Maybe you could articulate better, my brother, that of what the courting phase is. We don't court anymore. We do the social media. That's how we do.
If I only got 3 followers, that's how I remember all of this.
You know what's interesting? Yeah, I think both of you are right in it. You know, I'll take a middle line. I you know what, I can see her point of view, and I can also see it from Daniel's point of view, which is like, you know, you might tap in with somebody, you know, you do the whole like a couple of pictures, and because your whole intention is not to befriend them, it is to get to know them. You have an intention of trying to get in their face so that you can actually see if you can end up having a conversation to get to a date in place, right? So yes, sometimes after you finish the thing and it doesn't go that well, you unfollow. Why do I need to follow you? I finished my business. I followed you for a reason. I didn't follow you to be a friend. You don't have anything interesting on your page for me to follow. I followed you because you were pretty, and that's why. But that's a very specific movement. So that's a very specific movement, right? If you're trying to attain something, then I'm just trying to get there quickly to see if I can get you to get your attention. If it doesn't work out, why am I still following you? I'm going to unfollow you. My job is done. You didn't respond. It's okay. Move on. Next person to follow and unfollow. You know what I mean? And it's less about a follower count. It's just more of a case of just like, I don't need to stay there anymore. You know what I'm saying, Chi? I've done my job. I tried.
That's wild. I'm not about to unfollow Aaron Pierre, Morris Chestnut, and all of them because they ain't sitting here and respond back to me. That is the stupidest stuff I've ever heard in my daggone life.
Maybe a little bit insecure in it.
Because you wanted to follow the person. You were following them to try to get a
No, them people there. Yeah, no. Aaron Pierre and them, yeah. Because you have a genuine interest in who they actually are in terms of their craft, their work, they're good looking.
Actual interest in that I'm just gonna follow, even though they still ain't talking either, and they not celebrity. That's just weird to me.
Do you date? Do you date through Instagram?
Hell no. So there's.
That's what I'm trying to say.
I got real people in real life.
I'm trying to tell you.
In my real life, okay, you know, but have I dated through Instagram? Yes, but I don't unfollow people. Like
the dating game is.
Yeah, but you don't normally pursue, so you don't need to unfollow because you're the one being pursued, right? Except if you'd be on your Leo-ish, but you know you're the one You're not the one usually pursuing. So if we're pursuing, it's like we're just gonna go in there quickly. If it doesn't work out, all right, move on. Unfollow, move on.
Not remembering who the heck follows me.
That's true. I'm not denying that either. Too.
To their page to be like, oh yeah, you followed me and stuff like.
And your photo look like this.
I agree with that part too.
If I don't like you, I'm not remembering. I remember I don't like you. That's it.
But I think if the pool, it depends on the size of the pool. Like in Minneapolis, again, they're saying that a lot of people have dated or have talked to a lot of people in similar circles. I'm saying if a girl likes you or is at least minorly attracted to you, she might follow you back or at least leave a heart on your favorite picture or something like that. People remember that stuff. People are far more like
Easton. Do they remember it from 2-3 months ago?
Yes. If I see somebody, if I see somebody on Instagram,
that gives me more of the serial iller than he does. Then, if you remember a person that followed, like a picture, followed and unfollowed me. Every single person that does that, you remember every single person that does that. So for 2 to 3 months later, say, you know what? I just, and she is like, I knew the voice was familiar. Her story would have been better if I know him through a mutual friend or something like that. We got a few people that we know, and I know this man. You know this man's voice and everything. That means you was watching videos of him and all kind of stuff. Like what?
Now that I agree with, because that information she shouldn't come across, which means she did some stalking of her own. So the reality is that she shouldn't put it all on him as if he was stalking her. That's where it's a problem. I think that, and I agree with you ladies in that respect, because I wouldn't know the voice of that person. I wouldn't like if someone follows me and unfollows me, which women have done it before. They like 3 or 4 pictures of your thing and you don't respond to it and they unfollow you. But I'll just go for it. Do I think you're pretty enough for me? Nah, I don't think you're not my type. All right, move on. But I'm not trying to listen to your voice and everything like that. Blah blah. I won't be able to tell your voice. I won't be able to even say that. Do you know what I'm saying? It would have to be a one in a million chance that maybe that you have a very unique face or something unique about that situation happened that you remember it, but. It doesn't sound like that for her, so I do understand what you ladies are saying as well in that respect.
I think her biggest issue, or again, I think Taylor's wrong. I'm not agreeing that. I just am saying I can see some of the nuances because again, this is a social experiment, and the premise of it is that you shouldn't have any inclination of the prior person. You shouldn't. You shouldn't have. I shouldn't have saw you in passing. I shouldn't have met you at a bar or us, we at happy hour and I see you and we done chatted or we done attempted to like each other or anything like that. That's what she's saying to disqualify their relationship. I think Taylor's wrong. Again,
don't make up a story. Just
nobody's making up a story.
No, you gave up a whole bunch of different things of what she's saying, but that's not what she said. That's what I'm saying. If that's any of the stories that you're saying is the reason, that's fine. Let that be the reason. But don't sit here and say, oh, this man, you follow me and unfollow me. And I remember you because you had this picture up and your voice is familiar and all this stuff like that. Because it does not read that he's the one who's sitting here stalking you. It sounds like you were stalking him in return if he was stalking you in the first.
I think that we are, again, I think we're saying this.
You keep speaking French to me.
Okay. Well, I think that me and some of the other people are saying the same thing. All I'm saying is I don't think that Daniel didn't not follow her. I think that she's telling somewhat of the truth. I just think that she's using it in a little bit more nefarious ways. When she
fairness, I can see that follow, unfollow. I have accidentally followed people. And literally accident when you know how you accidentally.
No, I think Daniel liked her. I think that Daniel
could possibly have done that. I get all of that, but how do we get to this voice relationship thing? Like relating his voice to something.
There's plenty of people with reels and stuff like that. I will. If somebody follows me, I might look at some their top.
I'm not about to remember your voice from 2-3 months ago.
Okay, all right. I get that. I'm just saying this is a different day and age. You might see somebody that you connected with on Hinge and you might see them out at a happy hour. I had that plenty of times happen. And we might have texted a couple of times, but nothing ever transpired from that.
You see, y'all had texts, y'all have conversation, y'all had all of this. This lady had none of this stuff prior to seeing this man. So she says, or whatever. However, all of a sudden she sees this man. She knows everything about him all of a sudden.
She didn't say she knew everything about him. She just said he followed.
She like to go off the hinge and say some wild stuff. So when I sit here and be vague about it, now you want to specify what it is.
Look, Jay, you are grabbing at straws.
No, you reach before you stretch.
No, don't take my saying. Don't take my saying. I'm not reaching. I'm not reaching. You're literally saying I can't imagine that anybody would remember a picture or something like that 2 or 3 months ago, and you have people who have done that literally.
Because there's something serial about them people. You better watch out for her.
I already am. She's already on my radar. Like I said, she left that makeup on that man's shirt. I mean, on that man's suit. So I already said she wasn't in good graces. I'm just saying I can see how for her it could be a little bit off-putting. But again, I do believe that she's using this as a prime excuse. Get it? But I'm saying Daniel is acting like, oh, I didn't know, I didn't do any of that. I'm like, I can see you following, liking how she looked, trying to see, test the waters out.
Why is she remembering so much about a man she had no interest in?
People look.
She has no interest in this man. Not even to follow
We've
him.
seen people act irrationally on plenty of different shows for people they have no interest in.
Orange Man is longer than Scottie Pippen's right now. You know what I'm
saying? We've seen people act irrationally over people that they have no interest in on plenty of different shows in this day and age. So I don't think that is a stretch.
Well, let's stretch over to another couple.
That's a big
Yes.
stretch.
But because y'all don't stretch that topic, and I liked it. It was fun. I'm sure the audience will let us know. Let us know down in the comment section what your thoughts are. Do you think that Taylor is lying about saying that she knew Daniel beforehand? Do you think Daniel's lying? Is he stalking Taylor? Maybe, perhaps. Is it a case of just miscommunications? Like, is it just a case of maybe I followed you, I unfollowed you, maybe it was a mistake kind of thing, or is it a case of the fact that she's stalking him? Maybe because how does she know all the things that she did know about him as well? So we won't know until obviously next few episodes drop next Friday. So let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section as well. We're gonna go to our next couple, but before we do, make sure you guys are liking, you're sharing, you are subscribing. You're clicking on that bell button. If you're in the chat, we've got 181 going on to 200 people in the room. If you are here and you have not become a member, I am going to implore you to become one, because it's about to go to members only in the chat. Meaning if you're enjoying the conversation, you're enjoying the fun, you're not going to be able to have much participation in terms of conversation. You're going to have to watch from the outside. And I don't want that for you, okay? I want you to be able to enjoy the festivities of the conversation. You see how these two were going at it? You saw how Easton and Jay were going at it? You were also enjoying that chat and you were making your commentary in the chat. You felt like you wanted to add your say. And I don't want you to be robbed of that opportunity, okay? So listen, make sure you click on the $sign below the chat if you haven't done so already, okay? Click on the $sign below the chat and sign up to the membership. It's £1, it is $1. It is cheap on purpose so that you are not going to break your bank, okay? I would say it costs as much as a coffee, but a coffee costs more, all right? It costs a whole lot more, okay? All right, so listen, we're going to go into our next couple. We're gonna go to our next couple, or I should say our next love triangle. But we in fact no, let's do Ben and Sarah really quickly, because Ben and Sarah obviously another couple who they obviously let me wait until I get the clip for you guys. They were also another couple who got together, but I was a little bit concerned because I was like, I don't know if they're the right kind of couple for each other, because obviously they have different sets of values, it seems, right? She's an activist. He is a Christian who says he's open to learning and growing and understanding. So, they also show each other. But I think they were revealed. Was there a reveal in episode 5? I think their reveal was in episode 5, right? It wasn't episode 6, because if I remember correctly, episode 6 did not have their reveal. So let me just double check and make sure. I'll get you guys a clip so you can actually see that, because their reveal did not remind me in episode 6, if I remember correctly. So I'm just going to quickly scoot over to episode 6, 5. And I can't find a clip, so it might have to be a little bit later. And I'll go. Oh, here we go. There we go. There we go. There we go. They also did a little bit of a handshake, so who knows? All right, here we go. Let's drop you a little clip here. Fantastic. And here we go.
Holy shit, you're beautiful. Holy shit.
You're sweating. I'm sorry.
Oh my God.
Oh my God, I can't believe you realized.
I can't lie to you, she's a stunning woman, I need a bit more back, but she's a stunning woman still, you know what I'm saying to you? But she's a stunning
Coach,
woman
we
still.
can't talk about looks. We can't talk about looks.
Yeah, sorry.
But it is prime milk.
But she is a pretty woman. She's a pretty woman. I won't lie to you. Her face is very, very pretty. It reminds me of one of my primary school teachers I had a crush on back in the day. All right, listen. So, talk to me. Ben and Sarah, activist, Christian who's got his own faith, fighting for the BLM. One doesn't vote. I want to know your thoughts. Ben and Sarah,
Let me take this one.
What? Yes, go on, Easton.
I think both of these people are capping, big capping. Again, my ears and my eyes start to perk up when people look like they shouldn't be on this show and they on this show. Ben's a handsome guy. Sarah is a pretty lady. Don't need to be on this show. We already have like precursors of Ben. If you keep up in the Reddit streets, you get to see the YouTube channels and all the different antics that he's done. So I'm like, okay, yeah. Oh, if you haven't heard, like he has a long, lengthy history of doing things like to get attention. He has a YouTube channel. He's known in the Minneapolis streets. I think he played baseball. He's known. He's has plenty of TikToks about him all around. So you should do your deep dives in on that. He's not here for the right reasons, and they already spoiled it, but I'm not going to do that. But
we're here already.
Oh
Six
no,
episodes
they
in.
You
basically.
just spoiled everything just now. Just continue down the road.
Yeah, you already gone down that road. You might as well spoil it up, bro. I'm
Oh,
not complaining. Go on.
basically, it gets back to Sarah that he ends up having, like, he was dating somebody on and off, and he was dating some other people around, and they didn't like how he was treating some of the other girls, and gets back to Sarah at the altar. She tells him no. He tells her, and all that stuff. Basically, he's known in the streets of Minneapolis. He in the streets. And so that always perks my eyes and ears when really, really attractive people get on the show. And I'm like, he's doing it for ulterior motive. Sarah.
Can I interject real quick? Because you
I'm
keep
on the
talking
spoiler
about,
boy.
yeah,
I'm
but
break the show down.
yeah, I thought you was gonna spoil the streets talking part, not the
Yeah.
Oh no, he had like it was
the whole
like
goddamn show.
Oh.
Hey, look. Oh, you must spoil this. I had a show.
I thought y'all was on TikTok. I thought we already knew. I was like, this is a waste of time.
I was like, he was way too far gone. I couldn't even stop him.
Oh my bad, Jet. My bad, panelist. I was like, oh, because this came out like a year ago.
Yeah,
No way.
we got it.
My bad, gang, my bad.
But everybody
like,
got on TikTok though. Like,
no, because the Minneapolis Love Is Blind season has been on TikTok, and they was like following these people. My bad, y'all. I thought we was.
It's not that stable place, Easton.
My bad.
No
But just to get on Sarah, I think it's performative. I think that it's not authentic. I think that there is, a little bit of, there's just something there that isn't authentic about it. And again, Ben is traditional. Like, he's like your tech bro. He don't care about nothing. He says he goes to church. He says he don't vote, but that there's a little bit of like dog whistling and stuff in there. And Sarah, she's like, it got to be this way and this way and this way. And I'm like, this is a waste of time. But I think a lot of Sarah's antics are performative. I think Ben is Ben. You know what you're going to get. He ain't much of anything. And it is what it is. I think it's just a wash of a relationship in general.
Wow.
Sorry, y'all. I'm sorry. I thought we was.
Since we speaking of TikTok, this reminds me of a lovely conversation we had last Monday on Kojo's TikTok, where somebody had found them a safe space and just went crazy with it. Okay, thank you, Easton. But since Easton has spoiled that aspect of it, let's talk about a different aspect. Okay, when we start getting to deal breakers and real things that make or break a relationship for us, I think these two should never really be together for that reason alone. When it comes to politics and religion, those are two major things that people get divorced over or have breakups over. And these two, they don't have totally opposing views, but they're not aligned. They're not aligned really at all. It's, this is where we talk about a little bit of Ready to Love, where you got, what's her name? Rose, who is into spirits, and Cameron is not really into it. And she's like, yeah, good looking man, but I might have to pass on him just because I'm really serious about this. When you come to your politics and religion, people are really, really, really serious about those things. And Sarah's giving me, I'm going to betray myself out of desperation for a relationship. Because Ben is going to tell you whatever. Ben is in an open space. He's like, yeah, I'll go to church tomorrow with you and stuff. And then 3 weeks later, you begging him to go to church again. He gonna do this one movement for you, but he's not gonna be passionate about it. He's not gonna do it. He'll do it because he likes you or he wants you or something from you or whatever, stuff like that. But it's not for Ben. So I think she should never really entertain this once she got that feeling like, okay, you know what? We are just two different spaces when it comes to major things in my life. I need somebody that's going to be a bit more passionate and feels the same way, because I don't want to come home fighting in the streets, fighting all of these different agendas, and then come home fighting my partner for the same thing. So I think for her, well, obviously her decision at the end, thanks Easton, is going to be the best decision overall, but she should have probably made this decision a lot sooner.
Definitely hear that. Tough act to follow. Go for it, Elsid.
Okay. We're going to take it in doses, okay? Ben and Sarah, when Sarah was disclosing, that she is an activist for all different causes, Sarah also sat in her confessional and said, I will not teach a grown person basic human decency. And she signed up for a spouse that admitted that I put my head in the sand. I don't get involved in activism. I didn't even vote the last time. We talk about not evenly yoked. I'm just saying they're not on the same hemisphere. They're not on the same, in the same book, far less chapters. She sat there and said, I will not teach someone basic human decency. And this is what you signed up for. That's when I kind of chucked them off to the side and said, you know what? They just here along for the ride. They just need a vacation. They're going to latch on to each other and keep it pushing, because I don't believe either one of them. And when he came back and wanted to reassure her, her sister is part of LGBTQ plus, and he said, those people, I support those people. Yeah, Sarah should have just said, no. I got to go. Have a nice life. But she's in for a ride with this one.
Yeah, listen, I think she betrayed herself, and it was given desperation. They're both given desperation. If I'm honest with you, I didn't. I didn't feel like this was the right kind of person. I was like, your core values are actually different. So this really is, very different. I said this core values are very different. So this is not going to work in the long term. And I guess that kind of just shows us where maybe her head's at really as well. And maybe there's a little bit of desperation, a little bit of loneliness that's making her want to compromise her ideals. Because she was like standing 10 toes down, but then chose him. And it sounds like there was, obviously, when we see the clips of obviously next few episodes, there's other things that are going to happen. So it looks like the family are not going to be on board. It looks like there's going to be other things that are going to happen. So it may not have been that she would have said no originally until there was some box stops. So I think that's something that she has to look at as well. Going forward. As for Ben, he was saying that he's Christian and open, and his faith is he's conducting his faith how he wants to conduct his faith. I was like, okay, so are you really that way, or is it just you just trying to play a game to try and get Sarah too? Like, I'm not saying that you need to say manipulated or anything, but I'm saying, well, you just trying to do what you need to do to get your girl, you know what I mean, to be on the show, to be in the final, or is this generally how you feel about things as well? And like you said, you picked up on the language, you said those people, so immediately he distanced himself from those people as well. So I shouldn't say those people from the community as well. So I think he showed where he stood, and I think for him, I think it's interesting to see how not black people, but see white folk on a struggle love bus. You know what I mean? This is a struggle love. Because there ain't nothing that was working for this relationship in terms of values. But the desperation was loud. You know what I mean? Peanut butter and jelly out here. Any other thoughts on Ben and Sarah?
I think they're doing it because they want to be on the show longer. Like, I think that this is a means to an end to stay on the show a little bit longer to continue what they are going for. Because, again, I think Sarah is very performative in her allyship. And Ben, we already know that he's very performative, and he's doing this as an opportunity to garner more attention. And so I think that this was a means to an end to continue on to the honeymoon, and just get more airtime.
Fair point. All right, cool. Let's shift it away from Ben and Sarah then. Let's go to one of our fabulous, wonderful. Another couple, Joey and Monica. They also were another amazing couple. I think there were some great things. I actually love talking about them. Like I said, they have good vibes, good energy, and if anything, they're probably the only. I don't want to curse it by saying the only unproblematic couple, but rather I would say, like, they just seem to have less problems than most people. Let me find a clip for you guys in that space. But I would love to get you guys' thoughts on them. How did you feel about Joey and Monica? Elsid, how did you feel about Joey and Monica? What did you feel about them?
They have potential. I will start positively. Joey and Monica is giving me, okay, we have potential for good things. But they have to learn each to speak to each other and feed into each other. For those of you who watch the show, you know Monica is the primary caretaker for her grandmother who has Alzheimer's and seems to be quite progressive in that. And she said she has been made to feel a little bit of shame for not having a job. Joey, on the other hand, is financially responsible for his mom, and he gave up, Division I football to take care of his family financially and went to school locally. So I'm wondering if he feels, he missed out on, a life or a lifestyle he could have had. But I wonder if he's going to be resentful at some point that he has taken on Monica, which will be another person dependent on his finances. Yes, she's doing a wonderful thing. She is taking care of family. He did acknowledge that. I love how he fed into her with that. I just have a little inkling that on the reveal, the way she was beautifully quirky and awkward, I'm hoping she doesn't fall into the friend zone. I'm hoping she doesn't fall into the homey comfortability with him. But they have good potential. But again, as you said, I don't want to totally, go off the deep end, off the ledge for them.
Joey. Oh,
No, go
yes.
for it. You can go for it, bro.
Joey and Monica is when you get two golden retrievers together. I love it. I think that they have a strong possibility. I give them about a strong 62% chance of success, and I will see it grow. If they can get over the proverbial like golden retriever hump of the attraction, like there being like some level of intimacy, or it doesn't even have to be them necessarily like sleeping together. It could be just as long as it looks natural in terms of how they like handle each other in terms of holding hands or kissing or anything like that, and it looks normal and natural. I think they have a really strong shot. The age aspect does play a little bit into it. 35, 28. Joey having, I don't think it's not necessarily a bad thing. I'm just saying I think I've been a little bit more receptive to that, especially if Joey is a 35 that hasn't been able to live how he wants to live because he's been able to been forced to take care of family members, and then having to bring in somebody and not only take care of Monica but also take care of Monica's parent. I think that adds a little bit of stress, especially for somebody who hasn't necessarily lived out their dreams or the life that they envision. So I do want to see that. If they are going to have any problems, it's going to be whenever they move in together, because imagine them moving in together or in an apartment, but they're still having to take care of each other's families and make time for them and space for that. But we'll see. But I give them about a 62%.
Damn. Go for Jay.
I'm just gonna say welcome to our world or whatever, because this is what we have to do. We have to balance relationship, family life, exterior family life, and all these things like that. We don't always have the luxury, and I'm not saying that all Black people of our culture don't have the luxury to put our parents in the home, but we just don't like to sometimes. Sometimes it's just not a place for our family to be. You know what I'm saying? Just like it takes a village to raise a child, it takes one to take care of our elderly too, and we are that village. So I commend both of these people, first and foremost, for doing what they have to do for their families. My thing is, I want neither one of them to live with the regret of the decisions that they made. That's going to be the number one thing. If neither one of them walks into their relationship with no regrets on the decisions that they made to take care of their family, they have a good chance of being good together. One, because Joey understands how it is to have to do responsibility and forgo a whole bunch of I wants for other people's needs. And he can coach Monica through that, and that feeling of not feeling some type of way about yourself or having any doubt or regrets that you are not doing what you're supposed to because you're taking care of a family member and a loved one. Actually, you're in God's favor. So y'all really don't have to worry about too much, because people that do take care of theirs are definitely in God's favor at all times. Monica, I need her to find her an outlet, and I don't need Joey to be that outlet like that. I need her to find her an outlet. They can be each other's outlet from time to time, but she needs to find an outlet, because being a caretaker to anybody is it's a responsibility. It's a hard task sometimes and stuff like that. And it's very stressful on the mind. So she needs to find her an outlet that's for her. Joey, I hear what you guys are saying as far as bringing in another person to take care of. That's not really my concern, because once he finds him a wife, that's what he was going to do anyway. The concern is, how is his mom going to respond to that when some of that taking care of her has to be shifted over to his now partner or his family? Because at some point in his life, as long as the mom is living, that's going to happen. So I'm waiting to see how the mom is going to actually respond to this change of roles, where it is, okay, I can't do so much for you, mom, because I actually have a family too to take care of. So hopefully we in a space where mom is good, she's okay and understands the decision. But sometimes when a mom is being taken care of from their son for so long, they think that that's their man. So I just hope that mom is not in a space of being that, because I see how I've been a witness to some things of how it can play out and how the mom can get manipulative and in that son's ear, and it starts causing division in the relationship. So that's the part that concerns me the most, is how his mom is going to respond to this whole thing.
I want to ask Monica, we didn't hear if they wanted kids, and I wonder if taking care of the grandmother for so long as a caretaker, would she want a pause in being a caretaker and having kids? Because, yes, she seems to want to and enjoy taking care of her grandmother, and it hurts her that she watches, this woman who has been, very strong in her life deteriorate. But that is so much. And I wonder if she'll be like, I believe she's 28 or 29, if she would be like, I don't want to have kids right now. I just need rest for a moment. And I wish she didn't feel any shame with not having a job, considering she's taking care of family. That stuck out to me a lot. Like, who would shame you for not having a job and you're taking care of family? That was odd to me.
I don't know if anybody shames her. Sometimes you just put that on yourself. You kind of put it on yourself because you feel some type of way. And this is coming from personal experience, because at the time I was caretaking, I held down 2 jobs and I had a daughter. So you feel like you're being pulled in so many different directions, and you're not sometimes given enough to one space or whatever. Luckily for me, I had a little support system that kind of helped me out, balance a lot more out. That's where I'm wondering, she don't sound like she actually has that system in play where she can just kind of, I need to go run this and do this over here. So can you watch this person for me or whatnot? And I don't know, what is this, Minneapolis? Is this Minneapolis, Minneapolis? I don't know what the program is out there. If you get full benefits, like out here in Cali, the full benefits is still really not enough to maintain yourself. And I mean, that's 24-hour care, and it's enough to pay 2 people, but it's minimum wage at that. And they're not going to give it to one person necessarily, because they know one person can't do 16-hour days with a person. So I don't know what the level of care is, how much they get in that area. So that kind of may play a different role for her than I know for sure. But yeah, you still feel some type of way of something, I'm missing out on something. Somebody's not getting the attention or the care that they need.
I know everybody was talking about kind of like the, I guess, them being caretakers, and maybe some answers can come from this, but this is also uncharted territory for a lot of people. And it's not just a race thing. Millennials are one of the first generations that have to deal with taking care of their immediate family members, whether it be there being a lack of planning or not enough resources. Most people have prior generations to millennials had arrangements made for like staying at it was a lot of people. I mean, I'm just going off the numbers. There's a lot of people who had they had made preparations for them to stay in nursing homes and different things like that. And this is a big issue now with millennials, is that they're having
not in our community.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying everybody's like this happens to to white people. I'm saying that this is a big generational thing.
That white people have to take care of their family.
Yeah, like it's a millennial thing for
That's
them.
why they're looking at you crazy.
Black people have always
from like islands. That's all we got. We got his family.
I'm saying black people have always taken care of it and never. Like my parents have never been to a nursing home. My grandparents. I'm saying it's a new uncharted territory for them because most of the time they've already made the preparations. Whether it be they've already got their wills taken care of. They got everything divvied up, and so for them, I'm interested because at least having a support system is good for us, but they don't have that. So I'm interested to see if they'll lean on each other, how Joey will handle it, because I'm taking care of your own mother is one thing, but taking care of Monica, grandparents, and even wanting to have kids and stuff like that, I think will be another. So we'll see. Still optimistic, but
Easton, according to Pew Research, it is called a sandwich generation, the generation that has to take care of older and younger. And that is 71% of that group is between 40 and 59 right now. And only 19% are younger than 40. So while you're saying that and generalized it, the point is that group that Monica is in, right? She's only in 19%. 71% of that is above 40. So
Gen Z.
No, millennials are 96. So wouldn't that be like 30s, 40s?
I was stating age. Do I need to repeat it?
No.
Okay. Thank you.
Y'all are wild. But anyway, listen, you're making really incredible points. I think this is a conversation of generations. Like you guys have, ladies and gents have eloquently put, and there is some aspect of that economics that is happening, that there's a shift as people are living longer as well. There is that shift that obviously of people having to caretake and be more of a person that has to look after parents and look after those who are coming after them. So it's an interesting place to be in terms of time. We're in a generation of luxuries, more money, seemingly more freedom. We can fly everywhere, see new things, but it also has its own issues. The longer lives mean we've had to find ways to kind of extend our care and our reach and our help as well. So hey, listen, it's not easy. And so Joe and Monica I really do hope that, like you said, Jay, that Monica has an outlet for herself, that she can do some stuff by herself, and that will help her, be a bit more free as well. And I think they'll be better off for it. So hopefully Joey can just support her through that, whatever she needs in that time and in that space. I do have high hopes for them. So to be honest, I think they're probably sensible. So I think their reaction, their connection seems very genuine, if I'm honest with you. Very playful, and yet still at the same time seem genuine as well. Okay, let's shift it away from them. Let's get into one of our big hitters, I guess. We're going to obviously talk about Master Devin and his situation. Oh, I haven't even done David and Lauren. No, so I haven't even done David Molly. Let me do my David Molly and Lauren. Okay, hold on, because we've got David and Lauren, who also they also saw each other and got into a reveal in the last episode. He came out in a nice little red suit and revealed himself, and seemingly, it was a lovely, lovely time. Now, of course, if you don't know their story, with David choosing, he had two people he had to choose from. He had to choose Molly or Lauren, and it was a very sticky situation because it was a tough choice. My
heart is pounding, like saying that statement. That can't happen.
This is insane.
Okay, shout out to Lauren. She got a little bit of a body. All right, Lauren, with a body. That's our teacher right there with a body. Anyway, listen. So, David, hey, it was positive. So obviously David, Lauren, and Molly triangle. They had a situation where David was, having to choose between the person who said they're very chill and not almost caring, and you can do whatever you need to do to make the right choice. Versus Lauren, who put pressure on a Negro and say, you better choose somebody, and that somebody better be me. Okay, she let him know in no uncertain terms that she needs to be chosen. Okay, I want to get you guys' perspective. Was David a menace? Because actually, when I first started watching, I was thinking to myself he's going to be very problematic. But actually, so far, I don't know what's going to happen later on, but so far, I mean, he hasn't been that problematic. You know what I'm saying? No, I haven't seen him being that problematic, if I'm honest with you. I can't lie to you. But if you're saying time out, or said like he's that problematic, tell me why you believe he's so problematic. In 6 episodes, I didn't see that.
So David explains that his family usually makes decisions for him. He has apparently a sister that, does put pressure on him because he makes reckless decisions. I'd like to know what those are. But my problematic thing with David, with Molly especially, I don't know if you want to read our other redhead on the cast, Molly. He didn't break up with her. He couldn't say it out loud. I choose Lauren. She's like, own your ish. Own it. What are you going to do? What are you going to decide? He's like, well, I don't know. And, I'm having all these feelings. My heart is beating, to deflect from having to make a decision. And then when he goes to Lauren, he tries to say, well, Molly didn't take it well when I told her I chose you. We didn't see that. We didn't see that, David. We did not see that. Molly was like, you need to make a decision. She never put pressure on him all season. She's like, hey, life should be fine. Life should be chill. That's my problem with Molly. What happens when life is not chill? But he did not choose. She's like, I hear you trying to make me say, I will leave, but I'm not leaving. You need to tell me to go. I love that about Molly. She's like, no, you gonna have to break up with me. And then he puts a whole other story to Lauren. That's why I have one of the huge problems with David. He does not make decisions. He just lets the decision come to him. And it could be because of the family. It could be. But then he was leading the ladies. He was leading and trying to figure out what they wanted. What kind of ring do you want? Because I want to know. But I have my family's ring. And then Molly's like, oh, well, your sister may want that. Yes, I want my wife to have her own ring. That would be best. He always goes and says something after the woman, says what she wants or what she would do. David is problematic for me. I'm sorry.
Look, I know that we're talking about Dave individually. David is problematic because he lacks critical thinking skills and decision making of a man, of a leader. I'm a little bit, but I think that's pretty much across the board with all the contestants of Love is Blind. Is all you saw is everybody compromising and saying what they thought they needed to say. They were dog whistling certain keywords and buzzwords to make themselves seem like they were either uber progressive or they were really insightful and thoughtful. And I think David was the only difference in that kind of, I guess, idea of what I think of somebody, because he was being authentic to himself. He was negging everybody. He was doing what works for him, and that's his game, and he works with it. And so he did the same thing he normally does. He was negging everybody, shooting them down. He's extremely toxic. But I also think that Molly was somewhat of the victim here, but Lauren, extremely thirsty. That girl, uber thirsty. I couldn't stand her. But Molly, she means well, but the fact of the matter is, no. If you're trying to get an answer out of somebody who's not going to give you an answer, and that's all the answer you need. She should have known that David was very unserious and didn't deserve her time after the fact that she was basically clamoring for him to give her some type of affirmation or some type of something, and he never did. But David does what he normally does, and I think that that's kind of like his medical sales game, is that he nags people. He comes across as he's put together, but deep down inside, he needs people to make decisions for him. He might have something else going on behind the scenes, and I'm not gonna put that on that man. But obviously, if your sister and family members are having to help you make crucial life decisions, and you're a 33-year-old medical device sales grown man, I think that there's some problematic things behind closed doors with you.
All right, let me see if I can separate all this real quick. Molly, there's a good and the bad of being lenient and just letting people find their way. The good part of that is if they choose you, you know that they're doing it out of free will, and that's where they probably want to be. I'm gonna say probably because some people be playing, but that's probably where they want to be. Problem with it is, especially in settings like this, people need a little bit of pressure, just a little bit. You got to give them some pressure to make them feel, just like David said, at the end, I wasn't even sure if she wanted me. She gave me this, she didn't care. We're not being together. People want to know that you care. So just a slight bit of pressure gives them that notice that, okay, you obviously want something out of this. You know what I'm saying? I know she's relying on telling him, I don't have anybody else. You're the only person I got, but I want you to be happy. Some people don't read it that way. He's a type of person, like Elsie said, his sister's been making decisions for him. Other people's been making decisions for him. And so he kind of needs that little pressure on him to say, hey, listen, do you want this or not? Because if you don't want me, you just need to say it. And eventually she ended up having to do that. And he still didn't say it from what we saw. Now, editing could have took it out. But from what we saw, she was still asking, what are you saying right now? And all I heard his response is, well, I guess I kind of said it. It's like, what did you kind of say? What is you kind of saying? Is you kind of meaning what you're saying? And stand on what you want. Like, do you want that other lady? Because it kind of sounds like you don't want her either. You don't know what it is. And I was just for sure, just knowing that when Lauren came in, putting the pressure down, he wasn't going to go that route just because she was putting the pressure down or whatnot. But then when she put the pressure, it's like, oh, I think I like you again. So when you're saying that David is not a problem, yeah, in the beginning, yeah, it was like outright he about to be that problem. But the problem with David is he lives in the gray area. And that's why y'all having trouble finding him accountable for anything, because he's in that area of, I'm going to let the woman decide so there's no blame on me at the end of the day. Molly walked out of this situation, so I can feel free to talk to Lauren now with no problem. When he thought Lauren was going back away, he was back in the pickle. I don't know what to do again. I don't know. He was hoping that Lauren actually would be the one to walk away, but she didn't. So when Molly stood on 10, he was like, dang, because that's really who he wants. He really wants Molly, because Molly is different from what he's used to. Molly is not his sister. Lauren is his sister. Everything else he's choosing is going to be his sister. He wanted that different, that like a lady that's going to let me be that lead that I need to be anyway. David is going to be a problem in his own situation. Now, do I think Molly self-sabotages a little bit? Yes, she does. Do I think she's a little delulu? Yes, she is. So is Lauren. Lauren had the nerve to be sitting there talking about, I was wondering who was more delulu, me or you, girl. You delulu too. Because he didn't give you a straight answer either. He told that lady he was going to go break up with you. I'm sorry. He told that lady that she was the one in so many words. She didn't get that out of nowhere. And so when he got with you and you put the pressure on, he backed up and was like, oh, I don't know what to do now. He did not dismiss that lady like he told you. So when you watch this back, you're going to feel some type of way. Because yes, like Sarah told you, he's playing both of you. And he did. That he did. So, but be careful what you ask for, because now you're stuck with this man, and good luck to you. Because you was kikiing and all this stuff when Molly came and cried to you about that. You was all excited that you had won over Molly. But, play stupid games, win stupid prizes. We're going to see how stupid your prize is at the end of the day.
Can we also give a round of applause for the patriarchy winning once again? Because Lauren got the patriarchy tattoo, and then she ended it right or wrong with David. So I think that, it's still undefeated, like we always say, because I don't know how somebody with a tattoo like that can end up with somebody like David, especially when he was just talking about looks, being over 30. I mean, touche, David. You somehow beat the Matrix with that one.
Yeah, no, for me, obviously with David and Molly and Lauren, I think when I looked at the situation, I think David wants to be wanted, right? Because I'm guessing, obviously, that's maybe how his family's kind of set up, that he's pursued or he's overly protected. So I think he was trying to see, I think he really wanted Molly in the end. I think he likes Molly's independence, her strength, her confidence. But she did not show a desire. And I think he was not confident in choosing her and being sure that she actually wanted him. And that could be down to, again, coming back to that conversation that they had in the first maybe 1 or 2 episodes where she said, you haven't seen many answers, have you? He's not actually that, he's not well versed with women. That's the honest truth. He's been a plastic surgeon. He's very bright. He's very smart. He's got he's done very well for himself. But when it comes to actual women in terms of interaction romantically, yeah, he might have done some plastic surgeries, but he ain't seen no asses. Okay, he's not interacting with them, so he has no clue. I don't think he has much of a clue. I think he was looking for some markers to show that he was wanted, and Molly showed but didn't go the way. So she was like, well, I'm good either way, right? And I don't think necessarily Molly did anything wrong. Molly has her reasons because she got an avoidant. She's given very much an avoidant individual. But because she definitely was like, I'm not going to put my ass out there and have me looking stupid. You know what I'm saying to you? But she was evidently quietly confident. Because when she would come back in them rooms, she'd be smiling, giggling, having a little dance and stuff. She thought she had it over Lauren, and she would have if she at the end had said, "Listen, David, I like you, I want you." He would have folded like a lawn chair. He would have folded like a lawn chair into her arms, and he said, "Molly, take me home." Yeah, but because she didn't do that, and Lauren put pressure on, and I don't think even Lauren's pressure was even that bad, but it's just a case of I want you, I'm gonna have you, and if you don't want me, send me packing now. You know what I mean? And I think it got to a point where his mind was made up for him with what Lauren had said. So I don't know. I think if they see each other later on, I think he gonna cheat and have some amazing sex with Molly, and he gonna have his mind blown. And he gonna cheat on Lauren for the rest of his life. So if I was Molly, I'd take that man. I'd leave Lauren if I was David, because I think he's gonna hurt her. I think he will end up hurting Lauren because it's not who he actually wanted. But I've been wrong before. I thought Bliss and Thingy wouldn't make it, so never would have thought they would have made it when he came back. So I can be wrong here, but that's my honest sentiment.
I think with both ladies, if you could put up Lauren's picture with him, I think Lauren either she is very similar to his sister, or she's going to go toe to toe with the sister and help him get out from there. So Molly could too, but Molly is non-confrontational until you bring the heat. Lauren is just going to step in there like the 6th grade reading teacher, like she said she was, and she will read his sister, just like she did him in the pods.
I definitely agree with that, Elsie. I was wondering that because they kept making a point to show us that conversation about his sister with each one of them and how they responded to it or whatnot. And so I was just like, yeah, sis is gonna give Lauren a little run for their money. It's gonna be a nice little showdown between these two. Whereas I don't think it would have been much of a showdown between Molly and the sister. I think how it sounded, they probably would have actually got along.
I mean, did we not think that Molly was a little bit of a red flag when she was saying that she ain't never had a boyfriend and that she ain't had a lot of firsts to give to anybody?
Absolutely red flag.
I was like, yeah, I said that girl is a runner. But Lauren seems like she's trying to be safe, like she's a safe pick, but her eyes look a little shifty, so I know she got a crazy side to her. I know she got a little bit. She is a teacher.
You didn't see that Kendrick smile that she did it to.
Yeah, she got something in her. She got something in her.
She got something.
Yeah, no.
He did say, I didn't see that in you, when she kept giving him little bursts of fire. I think Lauren is, she's got the equipment to fight off anyone, and I don't think he understands the depth of Lauren yet. But he'll see. He'll find out.
He's gonna find out.
My last red flag with Molly was when she sat on that couch with them crumbled up Air Force Ones. You gonna have to look back. She had on the festival Air Force Ones that had been through hell and high water. Those, like she pushing a lawnmower. I said, yeah, you can't win with her, David. Now
Here's my problem. Here's my problem with these: is too many sneakers and shoes on the couch in the pods for me. I kept getting distracted.
People's
I'm
feet
sorry.
out.
I'm not sure if is the demographic, but too many shoes were on the couch.
So, since we're speaking of red flags, I think there was a number one red flag that came out, and that was from David when he sat there and made that comment saying that I'm afraid of being happy or having, like, basically saying I'm afraid of having good things. Ooh, okay, Lauren, you signed up for this because it's giving he about to sabotage some stuff. And like Coach O say, when he see Molly, he might go for that raw connection that he has and stuff. So I don't know. I would walk with caution, proceed with caution. I know she's just excited to have won over Molly, but again, with you winning, I don't know.
Terrible prize.
She better find out. That's what she better do. No, I think it's really interesting to see how, because Lauren is a bit more anxious in her disposition, but Lauren has given me, you can get a two-piece. Just because I'm a teacher, don't think I won't handle my business. Like, I can see that with Lauren. Like, come around the corner. Bang, bang. You know what I'm saying? She, like, Lauren gives me that energy where it's like, oh my God, like, yeah, she's it. But it feels, and it's like Molly, I feel like Molly would underestimate, like, yeah, I can take her. And then Lauren just gives her the two-piece combo. I'm feeling like Lauren can give it her work. I don't know, something about Lauren's energy, that those little bursts of fire that she gave David, the little naughty comments that she made, little one or two things that she said, I said, okay, all right, careful, Lauren. Now, don't underestimate our sixth grade teacher, as well. So I mean, she did say she was going to teach. She can teach David to read comprehensionally. So I don't know how that's going to happen for him, if he's going to accept that proposal or not. But yeah, I think she got a little, as I said, got a little crazy in her. So I think he should proceed with caution. This could end up like a horror movie, or one of those bad, you know, the Beyonce and Idris Elba kind of one. We don't want that for them, but it could end up like that if they don't be careful. Yeah.
She's gonna be on a Lifetime movie here shortly.
Lifetime crash out. All right, cool. let's move it from them to we've got another triple threat again. It is obviously Brittnay and Devin, and obviously Virginia and Devin. Now this couple here, this triple threat here, yeah, this one it's interesting. If you didn't watch the show, Brittnay and Devin had a really great connection, actually. Really was light sparking everywhere, you know, great basketball connection, you know, she down to earth kind of, it was love and basketball all over again for these two. You know, he's into the coaching. She let him know that she's into D1. She was slightly flexing on him. I'm into D1 and I coached and I played. Okay, so just to let you know, I can dunk on you. But you know what I'm saying to you. And she let him know that she doesn't mean you know, mac and cheese as well, so he better watch out. But they seem to have a really good connection, really good connection, and seem to be better fitted. Virginia, really, really cool, beautiful woman, actually. But she was holding things back. We then find out, obviously, why. She comes from a very kind of, you know, background. It's not the most prettiest that she's seen. And she was actually more, she said she had a better representation from her grandparents, which means there's something going on with the parents. We're not really sure what happened with the parents. And she said she kept on dating these really bad guys who are self-centered. And, you know, finally she found someone like Devin who is kind and is nice and is somebody who she could see her life with, in a sense, as well. So in the end, it didn't work.
We're going to let you hit it first, because we know Easton, when you talk about having a nice guy, we know Easton be ready. Go ahead, baby.
Easton's got his bars ready to spread.
I got notes.
Oh, Lord.
I got notes. I'm
going to let you go then. You let it fly.
When Virginia said, when she made the comment about the nice guy, and she said about treating a nice guy, I said, oh, my boy Devin about to go through there. She about to take that man through the trenches, baby. I think the Devin and Brittnay, B-Dot is her, what she goes by, B-Dot, they have a better connection and more chemistry, but I don't think that Devin was reassured. And I know this is a very sensitive topic because we have people who might fall on all ends of the spectrum, whether it be men or women. And so with Brittnay, I think that the only issue that he had is that is she still attracted to women currently? And I think that for her, love is on a spectrum in terms of she's attracted to all different types of people, and in this time she's monogamous, so she would be attracted to Devin. She'd be monogamous to Devin, but she can't. That's not saying that she could be in. If Devin and her didn't work out, that she wouldn't see herself dating a woman. And so for Devin, that wasn't reassuring enough for him, and so he scrambled and ejected and went to Virginia. Now, baby, like I said, when you see somebody and the looks don't match up with why they on the show. Now, Virginia, again, we don't talk about people's looks, but that is a very attractive person. I'm sure she's attractive internally and externally. And so I always wonder, why you don't need to be on the show. Like, attractive people genuinely, every time we see a really attractive person on the show, there's a couple of different, is it ulterior motive? Are you really just having a tough time finding somebody in the field? Or is there something more to you? And I think with her, it's something more to her. To me, she didn't, at the initial meetup, she didn't seem like she liked that man, was attracted to the man. And I said, yeah, my boy, you about to get taken through there. Every time he gave her a compliment, thank you. I was so tired of her saying thank you. She said thank you 17, 18 times. I said, baby girl, you hit him with a little compliment. He had it on that fake jewelry. I said, yeah, that ain't no real ruby, but hey, my boy, give him a compliment, something. He fishing for something to reassure him that you like him just as much. She was looking down and looking away, and maybe she could be a shy person, but please believe something is on, and she's fighting internally with what she normally goes after, which might be her history. And I like to do, it's like a car. You got to have the Carfax. What beforehand? Why am I? If I'm different than the rest, what's going on here? Did you do some internal healing that led you to me, or are you really interested in me? I need to know the Carfax. You need to know the history and the report. And Virginia saying that she had a history of bad man, and I'm your first nice guy. No, I need you to have a driver that was responsible for me, and then you take it to me, because I ain't supposed to be the person who wrecks this car. Ain't gonna be me. That's all I gotta say. That's all I gotta say.
Easton said, give him a pre-certified one owner of used vehicle. Okay, I need to know
that the owner treated with care, make sure the oil, the fluids, all the lights, the inspections are taken care of, and was handled with care. Then you pass it on to me. Pass the deed on to me. The pink slips to me. Don't let me be the first one. Everybody else riding through, busted the hubcaps, bit the axle. Let me know that you got a responsible driver first, and then pass it to me.
It's to rip the axle out for me.
Yeah, no. Got some dents in the side, ain't a little scratch. The lights got a little bit. It's not as clear as what it used to be. It's got a little tint on it. Let me see how a responsible driver got you, and then you pass the deeds and the pink slips to me.
I feel you on that, Easton. I am not mad at it. I'm not mad at it at all. I'm sorry. I'm trying to okay, my composure, because you was right. You spot on. The analogy is amazing. I love it. Okay, but you were spot on. It is something about Virginia. It's something about, and it's just not that they didn't have no deep conversations. There's something like they pointed out, you skipped over your parents' whole situation and went straight to your grandparents' situation. There's a lot that y'all not uncovering. It's the fact that that he and Brittnay has a better connection, or more in sync with a whole bunch of stuff than you or him is. And I told y'all in Kojo's chat the other day when he was doing it, I don't like when you sitting here saying, go ahead and continue, shoot your little ball over there, and I'll just be over here. You already downplaying what this man has going on. So are you going to really be that support system? Now, on the other hand, Brittnay could be too much of a support system sometimes. You know what I'm saying? She did give that flex. I did D1 and I coached up here and all this stuff. So she could have been not his right person on the flip side. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to, are you going to let that man be the coach of his team? Or are you going to be telling him everything he need to be doing with his team? So it was a possible chance. It was a 50-50 chance either way that he might not pick his person. Now, would his house be aligned with either one of these people? I don't see that it would be a problem, to be honest with you, because Virginia does have some understanding of an athletic background and everything, being as a cheerleader, dating some players and all of this stuff. It's not so much of a problem. It's just where's her mindset goes sometimes when a lot of stuff, are you really going to be that supportive? And then Brittnay on the other side, she could be very supportive and be that, right hand person. Like he has a whole facility for training and all this stuff like that. Y'all could have been a poster couple for this whole facility and all this. How Brittnay handled the three-way, the sexuality conversation, I'm not going to say it was bad, because she felt like they were in a safe space of sharing, because he got through telling his story. So she was like, let me share my story with you, and so we can bond a little bit more. I'm not necessarily fond of the way he handled her in that conversation. However, I do feel like a lot of men, they like to joke and play around of saying that they like women that like women. But when it really comes down to being with a woman who likes women, most men don't like that, because the same reason I don't care for a man that likes men is that's more competition. I don't know what you're looking at all this times. And then for her to just be like, I think people are beautiful, it's giving, I don't have a type. So therefore now I'm competing with the world. And if I'm not a very secure person or secure in the relationship that I am, that's a lot for that man to go and walk into. Like, I don't know, you might be checking out this girl, you might be doing this, I can't trust you with your friends. I mean, a lot of that stuff go through these men's mind. So they not really like big on it. They like to talk about, yeah, I'm big on women with women, and they like to watch it and do all this stuff. But when they actually come to dating a person that's like that, they're not really big on it. You could be as monogamous in all your relationships as you want to be. At the end of the day, they still feel like you might be sizing them up with one of your homegirls. So I'm not going to say that she was wrong for sharing it because it needed to be shared or whatnot, because it's part of her experience. I do fault him a little bit on the way he handled it, because she did give him a lot of grace and space to sit here and talk about his addiction problem, because you're not going to just sit here and tell me that you got addicted to ibuprofen the way you did and not say that it's an actual whole problem or anything like that. Because we can get into that real quick, okay? Because that story was wild for that to be your bonding story with the ladies too. I'm gonna figure out how y'all handle this so I can see which one of y'all I'm gonna choose. It's given I'm gonna be on some pills again at some point in my life, okay? So I'm just like, at first I was like, okay, this is not a bad thing. You was taking ibuprofen for pain, and next thing you know it, you just kept taking it so you don't feel the pain. But that's an addiction problem, and that's deeper than just that basketball injury that you had. Real addicts mask the pain and stuff with different substances. You have a deeper pain that's going on, and so it's when you're going to have other pains that are not just physical to your body, how are you going to mask those situations? How are you going to cover those things up? Are you just going to start drinking? You're going to start smoking? You're going to take pills? You're going to be an addict in a different kind of manner? That's where I'm going to start to question Devin's thing, because addicts just find different things to fill that void a lot of times. And I'm not talking no shame on anybody. I'm a product of a person who is an addict. I understand the whole thing. But they find different vices. And if it's not productive vices, which I assume right now basketball is that productive vice, but if anything goes wrong with that, how does he react then? How does he handle it then? So it's more questions that need to be had along that line. And I was just wishing that these ladies would have asked him more questions on that, because just saying I went to God and God sent me to this doctor and this doctor figured out what the problem and I don't have the problem anymore. Okay, you don't have that problem anymore. But when a new problem comes, how are we going to handle that? Because you didn't handle it properly the first time and you didn't really go through a real rehab behind it. So when we start having problems, how do we handle those things going forward?
Let's start off. I will say that I am biased towards Brittnay. Absolutely beautiful young lady. Absolutely beautiful. I'm sorry. I'm just biased. She's, absolutely. So I appreciate their conversation. I appreciate that when he did share, and it was quite startling for me to hear that he had double-digit painkillers, but I'm glad he shared it with Brittnay. I'm glad when he shared it with her, she came out and shared her own experience, that she did have long-term committed relationships with a woman, and it was the most recent one. Now, why is that important? Because I'm sorry, fellas, some of y'all may not know this history of your girl because of this reaction that Devin had. It is not something that a lot of women share, even if it's a brief experience. But she shared that her previous partner wanted to marry her, settle down, have a family, and be in a long-term relationship. But hey, she says that that's not the vision she had for her life. Her life, she wanted to have a family with a husband and kids. Hey, that's her vision, that's fine. But she did say something quite interesting, that because she was in such a strict household raised that she couldn't even hear profanity in music in the household, she said when she got out into the world, she wanted to try everything. Everything. And that included this relationship with this young lady. I just felt for the ladies that she was with before, it's like, oh, so you were just trying? You were just trying everything? Like a menu? So I'm wondering, Brittnay, if you knew you were never going to marry any of these ladies, why have serious relationships with them? That kind of seemed kind of disingenuous. Like, you're going to be with someone for the long time, they're going to propose to you. That means y'all are really connected, living together and building together, but you never going to marry me? I hope that it was very clear to her, to the ladies, that you were never going to marry them. But you said the girl wanted to marry you and propose. So maybe she was delulu. I don't know. I'm glad they opened up. I'm glad they were open with each other. For me, what I saw in Devin, I'm not coming down on Devin, because sometimes when people share their traumatic experience, that is not the time for them to be your support. He is still going through what he just shared. He is still unpacking it for you to then come and share yours. So while people are like, oh my God, he didn't handle her well, I don't think he was in a space to handle it well because of what he just shared. And he was kind of coming off of that sharing. So I'm not going to go too deep on him. If he can handle it or not, that's fine. Yes, I too would be like, ooh, I can't trust that you're going to hang out with the girls, mean just hang out with the girls. If I was in Devin's shoes. Just like I'm sure, ladies would probably feel the same. I'm glad he did share it with Virginia. I'm glad he shared it with his top two that we saw. And Virginia, where she was like, oh, I'm sorry. And she did cry for him. And she did feel, some kind of emotional connection. I didn't feel it with him and Virginia. Virginia was still closed off to him. Virginia was still like, oh, I hear you. And thank you for sharing. But she didn't share her painful experience. But Devin is smart. He clocked it. He clocked it with Virginia. He knew that she was closed off to him. And he told her, I feel you're closed off. That is your opening to share. And Virginia chose not to share. So with Virginia not sharing, why are we here, Virginia? How are we going to find love if we're not going to share? And you expect a proposal from this man. I will be watching them. Could they work? Sure, but she downplayed the whole coach thing. But I do think, here's my thing. Devin and Brittnay, when Brittnay beats you on a 1v1, because my bet is on Brittnay beating you on a 1v1. I hope that you don't it don't bruise your ego too much, okay? Love and Basketball is a movie, but I think Brittnay, she will leave Devin on the sideline with his new hips. I'm sorry.
Can I give like a round of applause for this wonderful Black couple to show us how to mutually just say you're not my person and be okay and walk away with not like real no hard feelings. I like these two for that. I know Brittnay did most of the talking when she came in, and I know Devin felt like eventually I just honestly can't be with a person who's been with the same sex. That's just not me. You know what I'm saying? But I like how Brittnay went on and took the lead. Let me just take this off of you real quick, because I felt from the energy you gave me yesterday, that's a big issue for you. So let me just take this burden off of you. I'm gonna exit this situation. I hope that it works out. The other young lady I know you dating is a very lovely young lady. I hope it works for you both. I'm gonna go my way so I can find my person. You go your way so you can find your person. I wish a lot of us in the world would be like this, because you don't have to force things. That's the thing. It's like when we doing all this fighting back and forth and all this trying to get the person beg them back in, all you doing is fighting the inevitable. You know what I'm saying? In a couple months, tops, 3, y'all want to hold off some years that or whatever, but eventually y'all gonna come to agreement that y'all shouldn't have been together in the first place, or y'all gonna duke it out. So it's just best while y'all still in good space to just say, you know what, it was a pleasure to get to know you, but you're just not my person. And we just move on from there. I like them for that. I appreciate them for that.
She came in with that coach suit with the pink and the headband, and I was like, Brittnay, you came to be on the sideline and tell him, yo, I'm out. Let me go handle my life. There's only one outfit of hers I didn't like, but this blue one, Brittnay looked great for this entire, season.
I don't want to be the contrary. I think that the conversation should have been had a little bit longer. Like, I think that there was more to get to. I think as soon as Brittnay didn't get the desire, to me, it seemed like she was a little bit more. Well, I'll say this with Devin. I think, and I'll get into the nice guy game. I think Devin was using a lot of nice guy game in how he approached in dropping his circumstances and situation about his addiction. I think that he was doing it in a way so he could maybe pull out more information from both of the ladies. I think he was feeling that Virginia was not very, which is why maybe that's just the editing, which is why he told Virginia after the whole thing with Brittnay happened. But I think sometimes we tend to do this, and maybe with more people going to therapy, we tend to like share our internal thoughts or things that we're going through in return, expecting somebody else to give that get that from somebody else. And to me, it seemed like Devin was doing that to get more information or get a more intimate scenario from Brittnay. I didn't particularly like that Brittnay, as soon as she didn't hear what she wanted to hear when it dropped it, because I think that Brittnay and Devin had the most authentic chemistry and connection and different things like that. And I think that if they would have talked about it, maybe they would have come to more of an understanding, because hearing something like that and being in a situation like that, it's a lot of processing that you have to go through. In my opinion, as a guy, you're like, okay, so is this somebody who's a friend? Personally, to me, when I heard about this from my exes, it was like, okay, so are you still friends with them? What does that mean for me and you? Because I understand how sometimes within the community, you might date somebody, or y'all might be people that you should be just friends with. You might be in a full-blown relationship because you just kind of cleave to that person because y'all understand each other's stripes. And so to me, I felt like Brittnay and Devin could have talked a little bit more about the circumstances and Devin's response. And like I said, I don't think Virginia is available for him, but Brittnay and Devin, I think, should have had another couple of talks, and it shouldn't just been Brittnay just running away.
Virginia labeled him a nice guy. He never confirmed. Virginia labeled him.
I'm saying that I think Devin, I'm making my own assumptions. I'm saying that Devin gives me like nice guy, golden retriever vibes. And so I think that a lot of times in that kind of nuance, in that dance, Devin is trying to pull more personal information out of the candidates. So what do? I'll initiate it by saying, hey, I was addicted to painkillers a long time ago, and I'm building myself back up for that, because he wants more information and he wants a genuine connection. Like, that's how you bring down the security, and you come across as a little bit less of a threat by doing that.
I hear you, Easton, and I do agree with you, because that's how I felt about that story, especially when he went and told, I haven't told this story to many people, but now you're telling it to the second person in the pod or whatever and stuff. I do feel that. But what I'm going to say is, when you do that, then you need to be just as open as that person is with you when you get their information. and he wasn't that open. He went into automatic judgy silence. That made her feel uncomfortable with Brittnay. It's because you opened me up so I can tell you this story. Now you make the space unsafe. That's not a good thing to do. Now that's something that Devin has to work on or whatever. If that was his case, that was his plot, his plan in that whole thing, to open up so they can open up. He needs to work on that. Dang, what was my other point just now? Because it was something else with this. But as far as when it gets to the end, they did have more conversation. Unfortunately, Brittnay took over most of the conversation, and that's where I would say I wish she would have fell back just a little bit to hear more of what Devin thought about her whole situation. And let's edit and just cut out what he thought about it. But I would have liked to hear more about it before she totally cut it off. Now, maybe they had more conversation about it. We didn't get all the conversation, and it just looks like she just cut off the relationship. However, I personally would have loved to see more of, I just feel some type of way about my woman being with other women. That's just never the woman I ever seen myself with or whatever. Not to try to sound judgy, but just being honest or whatnot. I just don't feel like it would work for me. That would work for me. So I would have preferred her sit back just a little bit, but she did take over the conversation, which just gave him the free range. And so I'm not really sure what his total decision would have been, if there's something that they could have worked through or not. But at the end of the day, it sounded like he kind of wanted the out anyway. So it worked in his favor.
Interesting. So maybe I didn't see it the way I need to see it. Obviously, when they exchanged details, maybe I'm a bit biased. I could understand why he took the information and was processing it. It was a very, I've said this before. It's the safe place, but I may not be able to be enthusiastic about what you share with me. You know what I mean? And I know probably wanted Devin to be a little bit more enthusiastic, the way she was able to really kind of, I guess, be as empathetic in that space. Number one, first and foremost, if you tell me that she was on drugs, I don't care what ibuprofen or whatever he was. I mean, I don't know if many people that are addicted to ibuprofen. That's a new one for me. But whatever he was addicted to, if you tell me, I'm gonna be like, okay, cool, but I'm gonna be judging you. Now I may not say it out loud, but I'm gonna be calculating in my brain. Can this work for me? Because you're telling me, because you're not a friend. Do you get what I'm saying to you? So I have to calculate. You're not my wife or my husband already. So this is something that you're telling me as we're still trying to figure out whether we're going to be together or not. So if you had told me that she was an ibuprofen fiend, I'm going to be like, we need to actually ask a few more questions here to make sure this is not something that you've fallen back on. Was it that moment of time, or is it something that you've had a period of spotty periods of over? Because I need to understand where you're coming from. If it's spotty periods, I'm probably going to be out, because I'm not God's strongest soldier. I'm sorry. You know what I mean? So I will hold a space for you. I'm not going to say that you're bad. I think she did a great job of just saying she's not bad. She never said anything nasty about him. I never made any judgmental comments. So I'm not going to make any judgmental comments. I'm not going to, do anything. But if I'm on the other side of the wall, I am going to be like, hold on a minute, can this work for me? I don't know if this can work for me. You got to, you know what I mean? This ibuprofen fiend, maybe this ain't the one for me. You know what I'm saying to you? So I did understand when she told him about and I think it's because it wasn't clear. When she told the story, it actually isn't clear. For instance, when he asked her a question, "Are you still attracted to women?" She did a tactical move. What men do. She did not answer the question. I think everybody's beautiful. That's nonsense. Are you attracted to the women that you are? Yes or no. She couldn't answer yes or no, which means yes. So I knew straight away that she wasn't being all the way honest about the story, which means probably there's still some things that are in that space that. And also, I think I said this on Threads. I said, I love the fact she was open, but if she was a man, we would have shot you a couple of shots. Let me tell you why. If you tell someone that I knew these women that I was dating weren't for me, and basically said that they were all placeholders, and I know what my life was looking like, and they were never meant to be in my life, never meant to be married. That's not how I saw my life. We'd be like, this nigga is a time waster. he is out here wasting women's time. But I was on Threads, and then a woman was like, "It's so beautiful what she said." I said, "Get the frick out of here! She just told you that she wastes women's time. She's disrespectful to other lesbians. I'm sorry. She's basically saying that she can never marry a lesbian. You're not. And I said it's actually disrespectful to other lesbians because they're thinking to themselves that we can actually, bisexual, because it could be anything. It could be open. We don't know, or queer. So let me not say what it is exactly. But they could be open. They could be thinking that and that woman, that the last one really thought it was something enough to be saying, "I'm gonna propose to you," but you knew in the back of your mind you never were doing that, which means you were experimenting and you were playing. Now maybe you don't want to deal with women at all. Maybe you only want to deal with men, but you were playing with them women. You wasted their time. But again, it's not to say like she's a bad person or anything like that. It's just the fact that this is her safe space. So this was her story, and I take it on board. It was just that when she didn't answer the question about attraction, I said, I think you're still working through some stuff. I don't think you need to be married. I think you need to take your time. I think you need to work it out a little bit more so that you are solidified in your identity and your sexual identity. Do you want to be bi? Do you want to be just a lesbian? Are you strictly going to be heterosexual? Like, define what you want to be before you jump into a marriage. Just because it looks like, because it's almost something like it's good optics. This is what I've always envisioned. Like, it's like this is what we have to do, rather than actually being this is what I want to do. I really want to be in a monogamous relationship with a heterosexual man, but then I have these urges, and I said, sis, if you got them urges, because you still find the woman attractive, and it's not like, I know a woman can be very much open with the spectrum. That's not what she was saying. She let us know that she dated, she's open, she found them attractive. Okay, so babe, have you figured it out? Have you settled? Are you sure this one? Because we don't want you going bicking back and forth. That's the only thing. Make sure you're settled. If you say you're bi, then it's on him. If he decides he wants to go forward, then it's on him, right? But if she's not sure 100%, I said, sis, don't invite anybody into that space. You figure it out. Take your time. There's no rush. Don't let your mum's idea of what she made a strict life for you come and influence what you actually really want. You're able to make your own life. And do you know what really threw me off? The end. Because when she said, let's end it, old girl had the pose like the man them. I said, oh no. She said, listen, let me sit like this and let me let you know that I'm going to have to release you. So, snap.
While she was in the coach pose, she was in a straight coach pose at the end of the bench, like, all right, so the game plan is team. And that's what I knew right there. I said, oh, she about to go back to the women's.
She go back to the women's. She go back.
And she was dressed like a coach. She was dressed.
Exactly.
Oh.
Devin was a little hurt too.
Matter of fact, Devin, you might want to watch a girl, okay?
Devin was a little hurt. I ain't gonna lie to you. Devin ain't never been let go from the team. He was released. He got his papers. He said, you've been shipped to the Philadelphia 76ers. Your end with us is done. Like
they will see each other again across the hardwood on opposing teams. Watch it.
Hey, you ball. He's gonna have.
I think they got an attraction. I do think they have an attraction. I think if they're really honest, if Devin didn't have the Christianity aspect, you know what? I think they'll be hunching. I think he'd be hunching, good friends, hunching. I don't think you're meant to be in a relationship.
A little on the side.
Yeah. I think these two are hunching. They got like a chemistry. I can see it. They got like a chemistry. Y'all would be hunching.
It still all work out. We just need to talk to Vanessa. What's her name? Vanessa. What's her name?
Virginia.
Talk to Virginia and see what she open to, and everything might be able to work out its way out.
That woman just don't like him. That woman don't like him. But I ain't gonna lie.
Maybe she might like Brittnay.
Yeah, maybe. Nah, she don't give me that.
Girly.
She give me girly. But Brittnay, I said,
excuse me.
What that mean? Girly, what that
No,
mean?
girly. It's not like that. As in, like, she's not like she's down for girls, but I mean, she has a very like I'm for man. You know what I'm saying, Chu? Rather than actually. Sorry.
Y'all.
That's it. Let them stay in their bubble.
I'm not saying. Listen, I'm not saying it can't happen. I'm just saying it doesn't seem like she was down for that. She may be. Hey,
you know what else? She gives me Dr. Cheyenne Bryant kind of vibes.
Now y'all tripping. Leave her alone. Virginia is for the mains. Okay,
she giving me Dr. Cheyenne Bryant.
She's just not for
vibes.
Devin. That's what I'm gonna say. She just wants to get married. She just wants somebody to tell her that she wants to get married. And she's met her first nice guy. It's gonna end. I feel like it's gonna end like a car crash.
She about to drag Devin through the mud. Yeah, we gonna get.
Well, it depends. Devin might drag her through the mud. If Brittnay come back, he gonna be in trouble.
Not her tuxedo.
If posture was not so
So
feminine
not feminine.
The chat wins. The chat wins.
She
every
said,
time.
because she actually had the basketball pose. She said,
She really did. When I look back at
legs
this,
spread and everything.
like she was at
She's
the
like,
end, just waiting to get put in the game. Like,
just want to let you know, your paper's already been signed. So there's no need to have a hard conversation. I'm ready to let you go. I said, oh, damn.
the deal is done.
She got options on both sides. I feel it, man. But she's pretty. I can't even lie to you. She is mad pretty. So I think it was somebody else said as well. Yeah, she's mad pretty. So I can see both sides gonna eat her up, and I don't
She
mean
was
that.
dragging
like
a wagon.
She a beautiful body too.
Well, she did. Virginia did say something in the women's lounge that was very key. She said that this entire process means the end of your ego. You've got, your ego is done here. So we don't know exactly what she's been going through, but she knew Virginia was definitely dating Devin. We didn't see their interactions about that, but she was like, my ego is gone from here. And she said information is key. So she was gathering stuff, but their reveal, I don't think she likes him. I really don't. I really don't think she likes him. It was just the thank you, and no return compliments to him.
It's another one of those things you hear basketball player, you hear football players, the same thing like with Hannah. She heard football player and automatically went to a certain position. Most people hear basketball player, you always go to the tallest person on the team. You forget that some people are not necessarily the tallest or the biggest or anything like that that's on the team or whatnot. And, you know, you should have did a little bit more research, but ma'am, ma'am,
She heard that man's voice. She knew when she heard that man's voice that whole ego death situation that she was talking about, and I hope that she takes her own advice, but she probably won't. So it's neither here nor there. She is going to have, in order for her to make this thing work with Devin, her ego is going to have to die because, like I say, Virginia is on the far end of the attractive spectrum, and so I always wonder, why are you on this show? Baby girl, you are a doctorate. You got everything going on. Why are you dealing with this man? She said that she has a long history of dealing with, people that weren't for her, bad people. And so she's going to have an ego death to deal with Devin. And I mean, didn't she say, I think in the previews, they talking about a prenup and stuff like that. My boy Devin ain't even thinking about that. I think she's just trying to find ways to kind of move this thing on out the way, but we'll see that in the next couple of episodes. But Virginia, she about to take my boy Devin through there, and I hope and I pray that he is protected and he got people around him, because I don't want him to put himself out there so much that he ends up getting too emotional and something unfortunate happens or anything like that. Because we've seen it time and time again when people put themselves out there and they don't get the results that they want. It puts them in a bad emotional state. And I think that Devin might be that way because Virginia looks like she about to put the moves on him.
She ain't put no moves on him. She don't want that man. I'm sorry. She ain't put no moves.
Just wanted to show you my good friend Brittnay.
Why she gotta say like she bar spread that he is? What?
Since she about to close the deal.
Close the deal. I'm in charge now.
That's the truth right there. She said, I'm in charge.
We're learning so much about ourselves and learning like, oh well, I wasn't expecting that, but that's not something that I'm willing to bend or break on.
Right.
Just knowing that you may be a little more rigid than I would like, within a partner. I just kind of felt like, I don't think that this is.
It's the whole outfit.
That's what I'm saying. Coach game day fit.
Yes.
Honestly.
She looked good though. She looked good.
Wearing, like dresses and all this stuff up until this day that she came in like, all right, game on, game on.
She said,
can't lie to you. She literally threw off all. It felt like, you know what? Now I'm finally free. Shit, I'm gonna let you go. 'Cause that's what it felt like. Like now I'm gonna be me.
I play point guard.
I got that off my chest. I got that off my chest. I have not been delivered.
I have not been delivered. and I'm gonna be free. So you know what I mean? And shout out to her, do you know what I'm saying to you? That's why I said to her, I want her to take her time. There's no need to rush into this. Like, you may think you want this, but if you're not ready for it, it's just a waste of time. You waste your time, you waste their time, you get caught up in something you don't need to caught up in. Explore if you want to explore. If you haven't finally finished what you're looking for yet in terms of settled in your identity, there is no rush to try and get into a marriage, because it's lock in, lock out. You can't get out of it like that. Do you know what I'm saying to you? So just settle and take your time. Like, no one's forcing you. You're a grown-ass adult. I hope she doesn't feel no one's pressuring her. Maybe her mom's pressuring her. Maybe where my grandkids, whatever. It doesn't matter. Sis, go and find you, deal with you, and work it through. And let's see where you end up. If you didn't end up at a point where you're like, I definitely know I want to marry a man, I'm all for them, then fine. But if not, don't force yourself into a hole that you don't need to. And that sounds wrong, but you know what I'm saying to you. Yeah.
And they need to check that ancestry, because if your daddy, both of y'all daddy and granddaddy is Willie Jr.'s, check that ancestry.
Maybe the good Lord is trying to stop them too from doing anything.
And they play basketball. It's in the genes.
Definitely wasn't the genes for the daddy. Okay, cool. Pause. Anyway, listen, let me go to the next couple, because that's a strong pause needed. Let's go to the last one, because that was way off. Let's talk about, obviously, this, I guess, quadruple, but it is the Mason Meg, it is the Madison Alex, it is the Mason and Madison. So let me get you guys' thoughts on this situation. I know this situation was the one and only. Obviously, let's go obviously Madison and Alex first, because they're the ones that actually, at the end, unfortunately, did not work out. Alex let Madison go, okay, and Madison was feeling both Alex and Mason. She wanted to explore her options, both of them. And she whittled it down to one, which was Alex, in that sense. I think she was always playing with one of them anyway, to be honest. But anyway, she whittled it down to Alex. Alex then, duly replied and said, I don't know if this is for me, because of the way that you, your attachment styles are and the way you probably move. I don't think it's for me. And he left her before he could actually propose. He didn't want to propose to her. And they unfortunately didn't work out. Mason also too went to Meg. Meg obviously let him down too. So I want to get you guys' thoughts on Madison. Now we've seen all six episodes. Madison, Alex, what we saying? What we saying?
Isn't it ironic? Don't you think? It's like rain. I'm sorry, because that smirk that she was carrying around when she decided that she was gonna drop Mason and go back to talk to Meg about it and all that little stuff, and she was just like on high, like I got mine. Don't worry, I got a boyfriend. My man. Yes, it's premature, because he still wasn't sure about you. He gave you the girlfriend title, which I wasn't sure why he even did that. So bad on him for it, because he already pegged you when he asked you what's your security type, like your attachment style. Your attachment style, no mine. I'm not really trying to be with what I've been with already. And it's crazy to me, because I'm like, both of y'all not healed, because you're both claiming a style that is unhealed at this point right now, which could work for the both of you and to some degree, but you was not sitting still with this man. You was not all in with Alex. And so I don't know why you expected him to be all in with you. Every 5 seconds you was flagging him off, giving him a reason not to be secure in you and all this stuff like that. But as soon as he back away, you go running and chasing him. Don't nobody want to be in a relationship with that. That's like it's turmoil. It's quicksand. Don't nobody want to keep walking on eggshells for you. You know what I'm saying? You 1 minute is I like you. I got this issue and stuff. The man say, can I help you? And then you flag him off. No, I don't need nobody. I don't need this and stuff. That's a scary relationship to be in. So you made him feel real unsure. And again, I don't know why he gave you the surety of a relationship. Talking about we boyfriend and girlfriend. He shouldn't have did that. I don't know, but that's his attachment style, trying to hold on to any little bitty thing. So I just gotta say, karma has a funny way of working itself out, because while you was running around being cutesy and smart with Mason, because Mason didn't do nothing but actually like you. That man actually liked you, or whatever, flaws and all, he liked you. And the way she did him at the end was kind of just, oh, I hope you might not leave here with anybody. You might not have anybody. I was like, girl, why? Why would he not have anybody? Why would you go and mess up with what other potential he have? If you really want the best for that man, you should let him go be with him and Meg. But then I also thought about the dark arts of it. I said, oh, she's trying to keep her doors open. Mess it up with him and Meg real quick so she can run it back just in case. I said, I see you, Maddie. I see you. Mm-hmm. I'm keep my eye on her, but we'll get into the other ones afterwards. So go ahead, y'all.
Alex gave us, a little bit of glimpse of some sort of emotional intelligence when he asked attachment styles. I know he asked other ladies that, because we found out later on he had connections with like Sarah and some others. I would have liked to have heard that conversation, but he clocked it. He knew that she was kind of teetering, something was a little bit off. He also knew himself, and when he heard her attachment style, and when she sat up at attention because she really couldn't play with him that much, it's like he's like, this is where I have found, I am triggered by your attachment style. Can you change it? And she's like, I will use all resources and do all means. It was a standard answer. And if he really thought about it, he would have been gone early on. But Madison is the spider that tells the fly to come on in. Madison was playing the game. As Jay said, keeping her options open. She was playing the men and the women. Because it's not only am I getting into Alex's head, I'm getting into Mason's head. Oh, Mason, you have another connection? I'm going to get into her head when I get into the women's lounge. Madison was, the orchestrator until the tune ended. And Alex realized this is not good for me. Kudos to Alex. Alex wasn't here to get a vacation or to just ride it out and to get some fame. Kudos to Alex for saying, hey, I'm not at a point where I can leap and propose to you. So we're going to have to end this right here. And I wish you all the best. But Madison was not ready for someone to tell her no. She was not ready for that. She will end things, but I don't think she's ready for that. And I was fearful that Alex wasn't able to tell her no because of how he said his background, and he always wants people to feel included and feel, be the safe space for folks. I almost thought he didn't have it in him, but I am so glad he did. But we'll talk about Madison and the others when we get to Mason and Meg.
Okay, so we just specifically talking about Madison and Alex now. I'll start with the lesser of the two. Alex comes across as very emotionally intelligent, but he just using buzzwords and catchy phrases, and he done read a couple of things, saw a couple of TikToks, and he trying to use that to kind of diagnose what's going on. He did it correctly though. He knew what Madison was and he clocked it. But I know your game, my boy, and you played it well. But Madison, she was different. And again, I'm not a misogynist, but you got to watch out for the people with the Superman signals on the chest. I saw that stamp on the chest, and it was coming through the little midriff. I say, yeah, you dealing with a different Black Widow right there. She's like 12th degree black belt. She gonna get you, Alex. You gonna watch out. And she had him on the ropes. But my brother, he was using all his therapy buzzwords and the things he heard on TikTok and what he done looked up on Google, and he done flipped it on Madison. In my opinion, she was a piece of work. But I think it was more dangerous how she treated Mason than how she necessarily did Alex, and even how she was so divisive in the relationship between Meg and Mason. I think needs to be studied because it's something that happens oftentimes. Like, again, I've already said we are using this as a social, like the framework is this is a social experiment. So you know that your partner or the person that you might like somebody else, and it might go to the latter parts of the in the pods. She was so diabolical in the smirk, in the little twinkle in her eye when she was able to tell Meg. And interestingly enough, Virginia was trying to keep our good sis on the track because she really should have stuck with Mason. And she was telling ego death, but Meg, we'll get into that. Meg ended up, her ego started to get ahead of her, and she was like, "No, I got to be the first pick, or he got to be telling me all this, that, and a third." And she let Madison get in her head and mess up a good thing with Mason. I'm glad she ain't on the show no more. I'm glad Alex bowed out from this. Your therapy buzzwords worked for you this time, my friend. But this was just Alex is a textbook person who uses these things as a way of trying to seem like they're different, but they're really not. And that's my vantage point from that.
I know, I guess in TikTok that Alex is supposed to be given a bad rap, but I'm gonna give him kudos for spotting Madison's game and calling her out. So you didn't tell Meg, so you didn't interfere in they? Because it's funny because Mason said that the connections had told the connections about each other, so that you didn't have nothing to do with that. Call her red-handed, baby. Like, see, you gonna be a problem. See, you already wrote me back in. I wasn't supposed to be back here in the first place, and you got me to call you my girlfriend. Oh, nah, baby, I ain't about to do this. He's like, oh, yeah, you about to be a world of problem. It probably triggered a whole bunch of stuff from his past. But I guess apparently in the streets, he out here doing some stuff too. But if he ain't on the show no more, why do we care?
The other thing was when all of this transpired, following along what Jay had said, that Alex felt sympathy for Mason and Madison, and that is part of her attachment style, the scorch the earth. She doesn't want to hear anything well being said about Mason. She doesn't want you to express sympathy. She doesn't even want to hear Mason's name. So Alex was probably going to get himself burnt by just saying, I could see Mason's side of things, but I could also see yours. She was like, no. That is not what we do. You could do it. He's like, I wish him the best, though. She's like, that's one of us. So, yeah, Madison was like, she was done. You on the chopping block. You gone. You done. We done with them because I'm done with them. That was dangerous.
I think what's a little more dangerous about that is because what did Mason actually do for that much venom from you? Like, to be like, don't talk about him, don't have sympathy for him. Why not? He was in a pickle just like you in a pickle. Like, you had two people that you could potentially lose, that you did end up losing because of that stank attitude you just carried on over just now. He was in a position just like you. So I just didn't see, maybe something happened that we didn't see, but I didn't see anything Mason actually did for her to be so nasty at the end.
I think it was when he said that he was committed to her and then took it back. I think that's what she felt frustrated by. I mean, again, it shouldn't lead to egregious behavior, but yeah, I think she was a little bit hurt by the fact that he said he was committed to her and she had him locked and then he removed it. He wasn't locked
anymore. You was doing the same thing, though. You was back and forth with both of them. So,
but she made no promises. She was playing both of them and playing in the gray, making no promises.
I mean, I still don't think that that it was that crazy enough for her to say that she was definitely hurt that way. But yeah, he made a promise that she didn't actually necessarily make. She played in the grey area by dancing dark arts while in that space. You know what I mean? She said enough to draw them in, said enough to get them intrigued, said enough to keep them around. You know what I'm saying? Really and truly, it's almost a narcissistic tendency. I don't even think it was narcissistic, but I know a lot of people can conflate avoidant tendencies with narcissistic traits as well. But it's more of a case of like she's self-serving. Her own ego was what she was actually self-serving in that moment, and it's like she wanted to feel desired. So it's like it's also a control thing. It's a power thing. She wanted to see, can I control these two people? And I'm not saying like it's almost in the sense of can I be in a position of power? Because the FA, like any of the insecure attachments, have their own issues with power, and that's what creates an insecure attachment. So it's like for her, it's like I don't feel very powerful, but in this moment, I get to have two men on me and I'm in control. I'm actually controlling something now. So I'll play a little bit here, I'll play a little bit there. You know what I mean? And so actually the frustration is more with Mason actually committing and then quitting was actually an indication that she was still being rejected. So even though she was one that didn't really want him, he was still kind of rejecting her in a sense, from her perspective, which I understood. Again, that's probably what caused the heat that she brought to him. But you're absolutely right. She definitely didn't want Mason. So she definitely didn't want Alex supervising his point, which is a little bit darker aspect of her game, I guess, or how do I say it, the way she's played it. But she definitely was boasting a little bit too early. She definitely felt like she was had won in a sense, because she literally told Mason, like, you're gonna keep messing around and have none. And I said, Madison, you done messed around and had none too. So now you're in the same boat. So that kind of like I told you so, almost like that energy was almost like an air of arrogance a little bit. Just a little. She thought she had sold it too. She sold it too early. That was what she did. She got too confident. Yeah, too cocky in that space.
But
yeah.
When we go to her and
yeah.
Go for it. You were going to say something. Easton. Sorry.
I honestly don't think her issues were with Alex and Mason. I think that she was in a competition with her and Meg. That's why I think that now the show is so I think that they should prevent anybody from talking about who they're connecting with behind closed doors. I mean, you can't do that. But I think that for her, in her mind, she saw herself as superior to Meg, whether it be from the look standpoint, whether it be from just her in general. And so it was like a competition between her, and she was like, well, dang, Mason likes you over me. I don't even really like him. So let me just go ahead and sabotage this whole thing for everybody. And that's how I took it. It wasn't necessarily an issue with Mason. I mean, she was saying, talking to him a little bit more sexually than she was Alex and stuff like that. But I think that was part of her game. I think it was a competition between her and Meg, rather than it being like she was hurt by Mason or Alex. I think that she was just using that as an excuse.
I can agree with that, because she did go to Meg's friend Sarah to tell Sarah that Mason was going to break up. So with Madison, as you change the photo, Madison and Mason, Madison, played the quintessential, erotic games and talk. And Mason fell into it. And when she got, as Kojo says in his recaps, she got her talons into him, he couldn't get out. She used, intimate innuendo to cloud that man's mind, and he was in a tizzy and couldn't see left or right. He could only see her. She would say what she's wearing. She would talk about different things to take his mind there, and he's just confused. So Mason, I'm sorry you fell for it. And you got to work on that. That's what Meg said. You got to work on that. But she played Mason, and she played Meg as well in the ladies' lounge.
Yeah, Madison's definitely a siren when it comes to Mason. She's definitely that. She's going to suck his soul in and just drop him. And she already knew she had him. So that's why she wasn't too interested in him. It was the cat and mouse game with Alex. Alex was pulling away, so she'll draw in or whatever. And as soon as she get him back in, she'll do him just like she does Mason. So it was more of that back and forth over there for her, where Mason was just like an easy catch. I got this man and he hasn't even seen me. That is an ego boost or whatever. But ego is a terrible thing. Ego will have you doing some terrible things and have you in a terrible space. And now you have nobody, just like you told that man. And it's instant karma, because there was no reason for you to be going back and forth. If you really wanted him to have his person, and because you found your person, you didn't have to go tell Meg, Sarah, anybody, anything, but you knew what you were doing. And so you ran back in there to tell Meg that you broke up with him, but sis, go ahead and do your thing too. Because I told him that he's going to potentially not have anybody when I walk out of here. That's putting an extra battery in Meg's back. I wish Meg had her own block to stand on. or whatever, but she didn't. And I know we're going to talk about them soon, or can I jump into them real quick? Can I talk about Meg? Okay. Let's get to Meg trying to break up with Mason, talking about he didn't give her anything to go off of or anything. Ma'am, you talked the whole time. And even when he got to talk and say some things, you were ready to shift the conversation as soon as he got in there. So he probably could have gave you a lot more, but you always taking over the conversation. You don't know what he would have gave you. You know what I'm saying? And he tried to be in conversation with you. And there's been times and they would have some moments where there would be something. And so all she was waiting to say the next point. She talked too daggone much. Then you got right up in here and talked yourself out of a relationship because you didn't even find out from him, did he actually really want you? Or is it going to be a number two? Because every time he tried to explain something to you, you said, no, that's not it. No, I'm going to tell you what it is. Because in your mind, you already have all the stories made up and you don't need to have no conversation with anybody. You just need to hear yourself talk. So it might actually be best for Meg that she be by herself for a little bit longer since she's great company to herself. Because I don't know. She was exhausting to me anyway from jump. So it could just be my bias because I got exhausted early from her.
Go for it. You want to talk about, sorry, I didn't bring up Mason, Meg?
Meg, shout out to the oncology nurses. They was out and proud in this season. Shout out to them. Mason came across as a guy who, again, a nice guy, nice fellow, just ain't had enough experience to battle the Elite Four, somebody for those Pokemon lovers like Meg or like Madison. Madison is Lance at the end of Pokemon Blue or Red. She's top tier. She is top tier, and you got to have all your Pokemon in a row. They got to be level 60 and up to take on her, and he didn't got that. His levels wasn't there. Meg got played by Madison, and I think it's a common trap where a ton of women, especially if there's like conversations between women where there might be some interest or mutual interest in the same guy. And especially in a social experiment like this, you're going to be kind of cross-pollinating with people. And she wants to be the number one option, but in reality, very few people are just genuinely the number one option, especially with how dating is now. You might be talking to multiple people. You might match with somebody on Hinge. You might be talking to somebody in the DMs, all these different things. And she wanted to be the number one head honcho. And that's what Virginia was trying to let her know when she said ego. And she was saying, like, get all the information hey, she was really trying to tell her, like, hey, girl, you like that man. Don't let her take you off your square. You need to rock with it. And she was too in her head about being the number one option per se, or Mason not being attracted to Madison in any form or fashion. And Madison was playing the game well. She was up in all the things that Mason was saying and different things like that to shake Meg up. But I think that it was a kind of telltale sign of how some of the conversation might happen with women, how, you might like somebody, but somebody else, maybe the person that you like might have went on a date with a friend or an associate or something like that. She might hype it up a lot, but y'all really like each other, and you let that deter you from having a healthy relationship. And I think that was the issue with Mason and Meg.
They could be their quirky selves around each other. I mean, Mason, they talked about different things, aliens and, different, all kinds of quirky things. And it's like, okay, you can share. But Meg said something quite interesting when they broke up. And Mason was trying to hold on. Mason was like, you my last straw. But Meg was correct. Meg was like, hey, how do I know that you would have ever chosen me? Because, I'm your only option now. If we had met before and you chosen me before you talked to Madison, I could be secure. But she's like, because I never know that, I can't feel secure in this relationship. Kudos to her that just because he's her only option, that she's like, I'm not going to be second. But Meg was like, she was letting too much chatter in the ladies' lounge get to her and have her thinking. So even if I was Mason, I'll be like, are you going to stand on business in this relationship based on what people are saying? She also said something quite interesting about being, what did she say? She said something about being, if not his first choice, then, oh gosh, I forgot exactly what she said. Meg went on and on with him about how his indecision, his lack of choosing is a choice. And I was like, oh yeah, here's the thing. She said she felt after each date that she was giddy, she felt great or whatever. And then when she sat down to think about the date and the substance, there was nothing there. Meg, because you were talking all the time. You were just, you were talking all the time. You got nothing from him because you were the one chatting all the time. So yeah, they needed.
Now, and I know we do this every single year because we have the same conversation about people being people's number twos and second choices and all this stuff like that. Yes, it's true. I feel her on the fact that I now know who the other person is. I see the other person. It's different from in the real world or whatever, that I'm actually seeing the other person I was up against. But that does not necessarily make it the number two. The thing is, you listen to this woman and how she told you she broke up with him, but we don't know what he was going in there to do. She didn't really give him the opportunity to do anything or say anything. She just took over and told him, you know, I got my person, so good luck to you, but I don't think you're going to have anybody. And he just sat back quiet and took back his thing and said that, you know what, I didn't mean to give you what I gave you the other day. I shouldn't have gave you that. So we don't really know. And I get Meg on that stance of saying, I never know. And if she really feels uncomfortable, she made the right decision for herself, because if she was going to sit here and think about that in the back of her mind, kudos to her. She don't need to be in that relationship. But truth is, when you get outside in the real world, you're actually going through this with people. They might have other people when they first meet you, and all those people gone and they settled on you. You just don't know. So at some point, you're going to have to take this risk, Meg. And I get it. You don't want to take it in front of everybody because you don't want to be around that girl. You assume that she going with her person or whatever. At the time, you was assuming she going with her person, and y'all gonna have to see each other. And I was his second choice. But if you feel something that's supposed to be your person and that's where you want to be, you just need to go ahead and take that option, because the second choice still might be the best choice. You know, that's what you really want to be. His best choice is last choice. I ain't worried about his first, third, or second. I just need to be the last, the only. So I sometimes I get on my nerves when they be coming in there and I don't want to be your second choice. I don't want to be your backup. I don't want to be this and stuff like that. He was one of your choices at one point until you narrowed it down. Just because he took a little bit longer, now he getting faulted for it. That'd be crazy to me when they come on this thing. Like, automatically, you're just supposed to choose your person. I got like a whole bunch of people I got to choose from. It's not going to be that automatic sometimes. So I don't know. I'm with her if she knows herself, but at the same time, I'm just like, girl, relax.
What, did y'all see Madison's face when she came to tell Meg in the group that, hey, Mason was devastated I broke up with him and he's playing us, girl? And the ladies were like, give him a chance to speak. Don't make a decision off of just Madison's word. Madison's face was like, y'all are messing with my game plan. Y'all ladies need to hush. Dang, I should have taken her to the side and get in her head, because I need to make sure Mason leaves here with nothing. Because Virginia was like, hey, you know, we got to let go of our ego. Don't let your ego speak. Sara was speaking up. Even Joey's girl, I forgot her name, she was speaking up. They were like, hey, do not make a rash decision. Let him speak, hear him out, and let's see where we go. Madison's face was crushed. That's when I saw her her Sith Lord come out. That face was just her mask slipped. And she was like, y'all are not trying to get her to be understanding. I need her to finish him, because I just did. It was something to see that scene.
The girls knew. They saw that butterfly tattoo and that chest plate. they said, yeah, we can't trust her. Can't win with that. Don't listen to her. Go talk to that man. Give him a chance.
Not
She
the
listened
chest
to her
plate.
though. Yeah, I know the chest plate took me out, but she listened to her though. She straight up listened to her. But you know what, Meg can't help her, so Meg gonna talk anyway. So it wasn't when they said listen to that man. Meg said, "I don't know what you're talking about. I'm listening. I ain't listening to y'all right now. I'm talking in my head to myself." Meg was working up her story before she went up in there. She didn't hear nothing them ladies said, so it didn't even matter.
Yeah, listen.
But you know what? Meg took the food though. All of them took the food and left the flour.
Love is blind and showing that food off.
Listen, they're at least feeding the people because ready to. No, stop. But Meg,
and the snack basket in the room. They had the snack baskets.
What's the house in the bedroom? No, but I mean, listen, Meg is cool. I like Megan. You know, I think she was a good vibe, good energy. You know what I mean? It's just that she spoke too much, and I think she just needed to allow herself to be able to listen a bit more to receive. I felt it was very one-sided, and I think Mason also passively allowed it too, because it also meant that he had someone else who actually liked him. So there's some kind of dark arts in that. Like, he allowed her to continue to get dragged along when he wasn't really participating as much. He just kept on saying, "It's so sexy, it's so amazing. We've got a great connection," and they did connect on certain things. So let's be honest. But there's a lot more conversation from Meg. It was almost overbearing at points, actually. The conversation with Meg, that she just talked all the space up. And didn't allow for her to explore more about Mason as well, which is what was needed. So I think I would just listen to it. Mason, you know, he has to learn some key critical lessons. He's got to be accountable. You know what I'm saying? He sold himself down a river. He kept on doing that thing that, I mean, we talking about simpish behavior. That was simpish behavior. Where it's like everything she said is like, "Oh, I'm gonna be falling for you. You know what? You'll get me to do anything you want me to do. I'm in the palm of your hand." Like, bro, come on. You think that's cute? You think that's sexy? Manog, change. Stop it. Like, that is what we're talking about. That was simpish behavior. You know what I mean? Like, he was willing to do anything and everything just because she put on a little sexy voice. I say, bro, you're not even with her. You're not even hitting it. I need you to relax. And I'm not saying it in a crude way. I mean in the sense of, like, you're not in a connection with her. So this is not cute right now. Do you know what I'm saying to you? Like, you are getting to know her. You know what I mean? No one's saying become a Terminator, but someone's saying just hold a bit of, have some class and have some shame. Have a little bit of class and have a little bit of shame.
Especially for avoidant. I was gonna jump in, just especially for avoidant type character. That's a turn off. Like, it's cleaner. That's all we hear. It's just like, oh my God, you're gonna be stuck to me.
That's actually a good point. Yeah, you're gonna be a clinger. What do you call it? Number 5. You know what I was saying? Yeah.
A dependent.
Yeah, and that is the trigger of any avoidant. You know what I mean? So he just needs to just chill it, man, because he's been cheated on. He's been cheated on. He's like, all his relationships, women leave him. So Mason needs to go and do some incredible work, because he needs to be sitting down, figuring out why does that I keep getting women that keep taking, you know, staying in a relationship too long and then leaving me, and also some of them cheating on me. He needs to go and do some real deep introspective work, because we can blame Madison all day, but Mason needs to get on it.
I was gonna say, I know you and Easton could talk on it, but that's a man with no boundaries, and as much as, like, we like to pretend, we like a man to say yes to us. We don't. I'm not gonna hold you. We like that yes, but that constant yes, I'm just walking over you at some point. It's cute and everything at front, but after a while, I like to hear that no. I like to feel like I need to challenge myself. I need to buck up against something a little bit every so often and stuff. And so that no every so often is beneficial, and it just doesn't give. He has a no. I'm telling you, if you wear a mini skirt, I'll just do whatever, whenever and stuff. It's like, okay, so when I need something, I just put on a mini skirt. Great, cool. You're giving me the whole game, and I don't have nothing to work for. So it's just like, I don't know. Your man want to speak to your man on how to, like, have his boundaries intact.
Oh, I mean, I think with Mason is a very big issue is that he says everything that, like, well, a lot of the guys do. The only person who was 10 toes on what they stood on, which David was the patriarchy, was David. David was like, yeah, I'm about to neg you. I'm about to tell you how I truly feel. And that's why as much as was it Laura or Lauren didn't she got that F the patriarchy tattoo. She fell right on into his game because he had his boundaries. I mean, it's clear as day to me. Whereas Mason and a lot of the other guys, you could hear that their conversation and the things that they were saying were curated based off who they were talking to. Even whatchamacallit, the guy who is 5'5", who lied about being 5'8", Daniel, his conversation, a lot of the guys. And so when I say that there's a nice guy, good guy epidemic with these shows, it's a breeding pool for them. You will see it when they talk. They'll change themselves. They'll move themselves. And they'll kind of flex to whatever she says or whatever she wants. And that's not how you should be. I think Mason should have been a lot more balanced in his approach. He should have pushed back on both Meg and Madison a lot more and stood on it. If you don't agree with something, and then stand on it and tell your reason why and do it respectfully. But Mason and a lot of the other guys kept doing, oh yeah, I like that too, or oh yeah, I can see that. It just comes across as kind of cheesy, a little bit cringe, and I think that you get a lot further by holding your boundaries and gaining respect that way.
Yeah, I think he needs, for Mason, I think he just needs to be able to accept that saying no will not mean rejection. Saying no actually allows you to say more yeses, but it also means that people can respect you. I was watching a video, and I'll definitely do a video on this. It was on with Lewis Howes, and he was speaking to this guy who talks about Cabal, right? And I was just listening to it because I was in the gym, as I was passively listening, and he said something like, the guy was saying like, people, the container of a soul can't accept when they have not worked or earned the very thing that you're giving them. So they actually push against it rather than accept it. So in this instance of Madison, she will actually feel a repulsion. Women will feel a repulsion knowing that you're giving them everything and they've not earned it from you. There's nothing, you know what I'm saying to you? Like, they just ask it and you just give it because there's no earning. So there is none of that stress that we go through to have those moments where we're like, I want this thing, I have to work hard to get it, and I'm going to get it. Whereas if you are just able to put your thing in and then get it, it's like it robs you of the opportunity of that little bit of stress and that little bit of work that you put in, that you get that euphoric high from. So like, imagine it's like taking a drug. After a while, when you start taking drugs, it gets to a point where you have to keep taking more drugs because the high you're chasing. And so it's the same with this situation with Mason. He just made it too easy for Madison, and he gave her way too much before she was actually working for it. Whereas you saw with Alex, she ended up having to work for Alex, and you saw how she chased that. Where as human, and of course some of it's insecurity, but a lot of us human beings, we want to earn what we want to earn. If you go to work, yeah, it'll be nice for the first 6 months. You might even be okay for the first year if they say, listen, you can just sit down here and do nothing. Yeah, you might enjoy it for the first year, but you know why? Because you've worked hard for how many years? So it's okay if you take a little break. But they do that for the next 5-10 years. You just sit here and do nothing. You're gonna get bored. And then you're gonna look at the job like, I don't even like this job. It's not challenging me. It's not causing me to look deeper. It's not causing me to having to do a bit more to earn this thing that I want. And that's how we are as human beings. So so for you as an individual person, as a man or as a woman, but specifically as a man, because Mason's one that did it, it's not about necessarily making someone chase you, but it is about saying, look, I can't give you everything on a platter, right? And if you were to go into a Gucci store, the price indicates that there was hard work in order to buy this particular bag, or you go into Versace, whatever. The price usually indicates a value, high, and that means that there's an aspect of work that it took to get that finances to purchase this product or service. And so people value it more. So that's how you have to see yourself. You are a valuable product or service. You can't just be bought cheaply. So if any man out there, if you're being that nice guy and just saying, but I tell them, yes, I do anything for her. Yeah, you check it yourself, my brother, please. You will die on your death.
You said a wonderful thing too that made me think about what it really is that I personally, I can't speak for anybody else, but I personally don't like about a man that is just yes so easily upfront. It's the respect aspect. It's big for y'all. And so I feel like you want me to respect you, but you don't respect yourself enough to not bend at my will, at my beck and call at every single turn or whatever that, and you're not even in a space to know that I like you like that. It's different if you know I like you like that. It's a whole different thing. Like, you, at this point, we're in a relationship, you're trying to make me happy and all this stuff. That's different. But you still don't want to do too much there either. But you're free to do a little bit more of the yes in that position than you are from a stranger. And if you're just doing this yes for a stranger, it's like you don't have no self-respect, you don't have no boundaries or anything. And are you yesing to everybody out there? Why do I get this yes? You know what I'm saying? But then you're going to turn around and want me to respect you. It's just like, I can't. I'm sorry. I just really can't, because you're basically doing whatever I want without me having to do anything. And I could treat you any type of way, i.e. Madison. I can treat you any type of way and you just be like, oh, okay, I'm still going to do. You don't have no respect for yourself, so I can't have it for you. And so for me, it'd be like, yeah, no, I can't mess with you.
I could use you. You're a placeholder, but this can't be long term, because Madison, if she was with Mason, he would be dragged along for a ride, and at some point she's going to get tired of playing with him. It's kind of like, unfortunately I gotta say, it's kind of like a pet, or if a cat catches a lizard and it plays with it and it stops jumping around trying to get away, it's boring. That's how I felt like Madison was playing with Mason. It's like, I'm gonna keep you around to be a strong connection. I'm gonna work Alex. Alex is making me work for it. But if I need to, you are on my injured reserve, and I will bring you first at bat. If Alex throws it away. She just was playing her cards all the way to the end, and she was doing it the way we talk about Kojo a lot of times. Like, she was very honest about it. Well, we're all dating multiple people. Well, we're all seeing all kinds of people. She was thinking she was playing in the light, but she was definitely using dark arts.
All right. I like it. Yep, yeah, I like it. All right. Any other thoughts on this season? I know it's only episode 6. Pods feel long, but yes, still. Yes, Elsa, do you want to say anything?
I know. I just like it. I know people may say, we're saying in the chat that it may say it is a boring season. It is about behavior. We are looking at behavior and dating behavior, and I love to see, that it's not us acting a fool, having struggle love, having to compromise and settle, because we're told that they don't have to compromise and settle. I love seeing this. I'm sorry. I just love seeing it.
I'm wondering if they gonna show us this last 4 back again, just because we don't went through a whole episode, and you went through 6. Let's put it out there. You went through 6 episodes of giving us this couple, just for none of them to show back up. So I'm wondering what's gonna happen with this and how we gonna come back to somebody's dating somebody out of this 4. So I'm like, because it didn't make no sense. Y'all could have just edited them all the way out. They didn't choose. Nobody got chosen out of this.
The preview showed that Meg and Mason connected after the pods.
Which should have been in the first place, but you listening to that lady, letting that lady dictate your life.
I think I'm looking forward to a couple of the couples. Definitely Joey and his relationship. I think that
going to.
So I think that'll be cool, seeing how that kind of progresses. But more importantly, I think you're gonna also see this, this paradigm of a lot of nice good guys, and you're gonna get to see how they kind of all work through is love really blind? Like, again, this is a social experiment. We're gonna see what's gonna happen, but I don't see it being a really fruitful
when the doors open
season, just in general, from my vantage point, because the spoilers for the next couple of episodes, I said, you see Madison with the hot pink hair, I say, yeah, she about to be a headache. You start to see the honeymoon, you're like, who's gonna have some immediate attraction, and who does the attraction not kind of fit for them? And so I'm just extremely excited to see what's going on, and then we'll see how this social experiment works, because this is season 8. So the glitz and the glamour of Love is Blind is kind of over, and now we get into the nitty gritty of what's kind of more realistic.
So her hair changed like Rogue and the other X-Men when they come into
Yup.
their powers.
Yup. She said she was going full dragon mode.
Correction, Rogue's hair never changed. She always had the white streak.
Oh, that's true.
It did in the comics, but I was talking film. Okay.
No. It didn't. She always had it.
All right. So, shout out to Rogue. Shout out to Rogue. But listen, look, we got some more episodes obviously next week on 21st. They will release more episode 3 of them. We'll see what happens. Maybe this will have the carnage that the people are looking for. But I think it's been a great 6 episodes. Like I said, from a behavioral perspective, it's been good to kind of see because, like I said, it's not just black folk. I think we can now rest this conversation that, you know, only in the black folk do you ever see this? Only in black communities do you ever see this? Yeah, we need to leave that alone. Okay, let's leave it back in wherever it came from as well. I think everybody has issues, but this has been a good season so far. I look forward to seeing how the carnage happens because we see, you know, Brittnay comes back. We see Molly come back. So we see obviously Madison come back too. So it's probably going to be some messy situations that are going to come back later on that could disrupt some people. Obviously, people are single as well. So, you know, we're going to see how that's going to play out. I'm sure people had some conversations after the pods.
Wait. You know, these people are engaged, so you know if they do something wrong, then you gotta judge them based off of the traditional standards, and so we don't want to offend anybody, make people mad.
You be taking the traditional standards out in the beginning of the live. Now we put it back in.
Look, that's what I be saying. That's what I thought.
Social experiment at the beginning.
That's what I thought, but people gonna be like, "Well, no, they supposed to be loyal forever to the end. They barely know these folks."
Easton is applying for the de facto deacon when Sean is not around. Yeah, that's what I'm hearing.
That's my prayer. Please, y'all, please, Lord, help these people understand that there's nuance in these social experiments. That we cannot use all of your great and wonderful teachings to judge and cast these people into our own mental thoughts about how they should conduct their marriages or engagements. Lord, in Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you. Deacon has spoken. Listen.
The deacon says stretch before you reach in the chat. The actual deacon, before you come for his position. Stretch.
Yeah.
I hear it. Listen, I hear it. Look, all these members has been amazing. It's been great. It's been a good conversation. I'm sure myself, Jay, Elsid got some stuff going on. So let me just go to them. Elsid, what have you got coming up this week? Coming up. I know you got some lives and stuff.
Yeah, this week we just did earlier before this, Koja and JR, who is living reality. We did Married at First Sight Australia, so we're watching that. You can watch it on YouTube Sunday through Wednesday. Also, Love is Blind Minnesota, and any other reality shows coming up, you will see it on my live. I love Love is Blind International season. So if you like this drama, you will like Argentina, you would like Mexico, you would like Brazil. So, hey, it is a lot going on the channel. LCID 932, as you see up there.
Yeah, I'm on Friday nights right after Ready to Love airs. Me and LCID is over there giving our quick caps right after the show happens. So you can meet me on Another Round JS there. And I'm not going to make no promises because I be saying I'm going to do these things, but I may try to get these individual breakdowns, or I might just talk about specific people according to the Ready to Love and the Love is Blind cast. So yeah, but y'all can meet me at Another Round JS. You can find me on Instagram, _JS.
I ain't got much. I just want you to support the chat, support the panelists, support Koja. They're doing amazing work, and can't wait for this season to kind of drag out because I'm sure there'll be a lot more explosive moments for us to discuss.
Love that. Yes, audience, we'll be back next week, same time, 5 p.m. EST, well, 5:15 EST. We'll be back talking about Love is Blind from episode 7 to 9 as well. So look forward to that. Obviously, again, Sunday, myself and El Cid will be live as well, talking about Married at First Sight Australia. And obviously, Thursday night, we have Married at First Sight US going on as well. So lots and lots of content to be consuming. Obviously, Monday night I'll be live on Little Black Book, but also my LBB coaching YouTube as well, where we're talking about men and women communication. So we're talking about episode 3. So we've been doing it last 3 weeks, been very, very good. And then TikTok 10 p.m., 5 p.m. EST US time. We're going to be talking again about men and women and communication, and then having a live panel on TikTok. So it's been going really, really good for the last few weeks. And last week it was very, very good. I managed to download it. I couldn't download it before, so the video. So I'll be able to chop it up a little bit. So audience, there's a lot to look forward to.
Saturday?
Yes, Jay?
You said your Saturday too?
Oh, I didn't say Saturday. Yes, thank you. Saturday, Ready to Love. Yes, 8 p.m. EST. So we look forward to that as well, guys. So 8 p.m. EST, Super Panel, Ready to Love will go once more again. And we'll get a lot more content out for you guys as well. All right. So make sure you guys like, share, subscribe, click on the bell button. For those of you who have been watching and lurking in the background, make sure you join the membership. Okay. All right. So you can also be part of the conversation. Okay. Someone asked if I watch Cobra Kai. I do watch Cobra Kai. Don't worry about it. But I appreciate y'all. Stay locked, stay loaded. We'll see you again very, very soon. Ta-ra, ta-ra. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. There's a lot that I wouldn't do, so you gotta be careful out here in these streets. You know what I'm saying? Too. All right, I'm a changed man now, though. I'm a changed man. Little Black Book, you know what time it is.